to recording this podcast when the sun is up.
Oh, it's weird.
It's so strange. It's the middle of the afternoon.
My eyes
Usually,
hurt.
it's the evening. Yeah, I'm usually still asleep at this point. But you know what? Good afternoon, everybody. I guess good evening, since it's Sunday night.
Yes.
Welcome back to another Rage Select podcast here at Rage Select. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
Michael, this week, there are a lot of things that I feel like I have the potential to be a little salty about. So I'm going to try to make this like a medium sodium podcast, which it should actually be a much higher salt.
Yeah.
The metaphors got confused. I'm not going to try to be the worst this time. Okay.
My doctor told me to stay away from salts.
Yes. They could say that all they want, but motherfucker, I have this whole room is full of video game things, except I also have one salt shaker full of salt.
Why is that up here?
Because those motherfuckers never put enough salt on the French fries.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And I'm tired of like getting 5 little individual shitty packets that you got to open up. I'm an adult. This is my house.
Yeah.
I've got 3 or 4 salt shakers. I got one up here. It's fine. It's all fancy. I'm ready for,
I'm glad you told me you use it for actual normal purposes and not to complain about things and throw the salt at people.
Oh. Whenever I disagree with the internet, I just start throwing salt at my monitor. I'm like, take that. So, okay, well, we actually have a lot of news this week, and a lot of it is just like, hey, check this out. We've actually got some really exciting news, and then we've got a block that I like to call the Misery Mile. That's just the bad stuff, and then we got some more good stuff.
Hooray.
So, but before we get into any of that, well, I'm going to hide this salt shaker so that I don't give any additional saltiness. So I watched some stuff. I watched Superman Red Son.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do this, Michael, because I don't like the Warner Brothers animated movies anymore. Like, it's okay. The thing is that they've gotten to a point where maybe I need to go watch some of the ones from the New 52 that I never watched, like the Court of Owls or whatever.
No, you don't need to watch any of those. They're awful.
Well, but see, every time they make one, it's always a famous comic, right?
Yeah.
Dark Knight Dark Knight Returns, or Killing Joke, or
other Batman
Superman
comic
versus
here.
the Elite. Yeah, and they always get close, but then they always feel the need to do something different and weird.
Absolutely.
And wacky. And like, I love Superman Red Son. I actually think Superman Red Son, I was thinking about the other day, is a great, because I feel like there's a lot of people in the world who are just like, fuck Mark Millar. And like, I get that. Mark Millar's done some shit. But then on the other hand, Superman Red Son's a good book.
He did, yeah, that's a really good. He also did this small run on the comic based on the Superman cartoon.
Okay.
And that was also really, really good.
Yeah. And you know what? I actually think Wanted the comic is okay. There's a little bit of it that doesn't hold up very well about this, like, I was a soy-eating cuck boy, and then they came and they fucking beat me up and jerked me off and fed me red meat, and now I'm a killing man! Like,
yeah,
it isn't the best. But
yeah, there's some stuff of his that's not super great.
But, okay, so the Superman Red Son changed a few things, and this is definitely one of those things where it's like, I just don't understand why, or I do understand, but I think that the reasoning was bad.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to tell everybody is that I'm going to tell you what happens at the end of the Red Son comic book that they left out of the movie. So if you haven't read Red Son, just go read it right now.
No.
Or don't. It'll still be fine even after I tell you what it is.
Because it's not in the movie.
It's not in the movie. If you've watched the movie, you don't even know. So at the end of Superman Red Son, which, if for anybody who doesn't know this, but Superman lands in Russia, and it's basically Russian Superman versus United States of America President Lex Luthor and his wife Lois Lane Luthor, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's pretty amazing.
But at the very end, like, Superman leaves. Superman is not there anymore for a variety of different reasons. I won't go into it.
Yes.
But then what happens is there's this epilogue where it talks about like what Lex Luthor did once it was just him and the planet, and like, he did all this amazing stuff. Like, everybody's lives were better.
Yeah.
And then like his descendants start like exploring the afterlife and like charting the realms of heaven and like going to other planets. And as they're describing all of this, they start shortening his last name from like Luthor to like Luth to then they're just like the letter L,
yeah.
and then it's like 4,000 years or like no, it's like 10,000 years later, the Earth's yellow sun has turned into a red giant, and like Jor-El is like, and the planet's getting ready to break up, and they literally send off another Superman, and it's like a big time loop, except that it turns out that the L that's not the same, that was like Superman's last name stood for Luthor, and I was like,
he was a Luthor this whole time.
like the last 3 pages of that comic just blow my fucking mind, and I was just like, I was watching the time as I was watching the movie, and I'm like, oh no, they're not going to have a chance to do this. They're going to have a chance to do this. They're too busy having fights. They're too busy having fight scenes that don't matter. Oh no, they got to put the credits on. Ah, shit. Okay, you fucked it up.
That epilogue's one of the best parts of that entire comic, by the way.
It is. It's great.
I love the fact that, like, after everything Luthor has ever done, these people who live thousands of years now, they're like, what most important thing you've ever done? He's like, I beat Superman.
Yep.
It's all he fucking says.
It's so interesting because the whole book is kind of about how like it's almost like Lex Luthor would have been like the best thing that happened to humanity if it wasn't for his fucked up obsession with Superman.
Exactly.
If there just hadn't been a Superman, like the whole world would have been a better place because Lex Luthor would have just been inventing all this crazy shit and not making big purple and green suits to punch Superman with.
See, I don't like the thing I always got from the comic, which I kind of liked, is that he did all of it to spite Superman.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because Superman's like this Russian guy, and then in his, like, the U.S. was falling apart, and he's like, I'm gonna fix all of this. I'm gonna make it 100 times better than your dumb shit to fuck you with you.
Yep.
And he does it. God bless Lex Luthor. He does it.
Yeah. So I don't
I'd
know.
vote for Lex Luthor. That's all I'm saying.
It was all right. I mean, like, it was fine. The problem is just it's one of those things where if I watched it and I didn't really know the comic, I would have been like, this is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But the comic I've read 100 times. I'm just like, I love that comic.
It's an amazing
so
comic.
I also watched Guns Akimbo, which is fun in kind of a dumb way. Kind of had some Wanted vibes to it a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of had some Deadpool, Scott Pilgrim kind of like graphics up on the screen stuff. There were a few parts of it that were pretty stupid, but it's definitely one of those just like, I mean, the whole point of it, right, is that the main character is a schlub who doesn't do anything, and then by the end of the movie, of course, he's just like murdering hired assassins with his dumb gun hands.
Yeah.
And there's never any explanation as to how he got any good at using his dumb gun hands.
He's
but
Harry
like,
Potter or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how he did it. Magic.
Yeah. But it was fun. I mean, it was worth a couple hours.
That's good.
I mean, it's on rental. I recommend
They
everybody.
filmed that movie ages ago because I used to see that picture of
Daniel Radcliffe with
the
the
two
guns out, yeah.
wearing the bathrobe or whatever. They're like, Harry Potter lost his shit. And that was years ago.
He does a really, really good job at doing a large variety of things with the gun hands.
Oh, really?
Because he has to try. I mean, like, he's got to try stuff. So,
Oh, okay.
but it was fine. I mean, it was entertaining. I don't think it was the best movie I've ever seen. It definitely wasn't as good as like Scott Pilgrim or Deadpool.
Oh, okay.
Like, I would put it in. I was saying this to you before. I would put it in like the hardcore Henry group of like, that was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing. I'm never going to watch it again, but like, it was fine to watch.
You were totally cool with how everything, like, you didn't feel like you wasted your time at all.
No. I never got bored. I never turned it off. I never looked at the time and went, oh my God, they're going to fuck up the end of this Guns Akimbo story.
It doesn't have the epilogue where it turns out he was Harry Potter the whole time.
Yep, that's right. Thousands of years later, he establishes Hogwarts. I understand you've been watching Castlevania Season 3.
Yes, I'm about midway through it.
Okay.
I'm about episode 6 or so. I haven't started 6, but I just finished 5.
Okay.
I don't like it a lot. It's this whole, like, because it's no longer an adaptation of Castlevania 3.
Well, yeah, they went wacky in 2.
And it's not even really
Season
an
2.
adaptation of Curse of Darkness, which is another plot that had Trevor and another few characters there.
Yeah.
It's this whole other thing. It's like this. It's an adventure of Trevor and Sypha doing this thing in this town called Lindenfield, where there's an ancient evil, apparently, like, or not ancient evil. There's something spooky is going on in what used to be like a church, but something went crazy, and so now they're trying to figure that out.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Alucard's training a couple of Japanese people to take on some vampires.
Okay.
Because it turns out they were hunting that, like, vampire from the first half. That was like that smoke one that was with Dracula or something.
I don't remember.
At some
It's been
point.
so long, I don't even remember what
Well, that's the
happened.
thing.
in
Like, it
season
just sort of
2.
tells you. Like, it just sort of tells you. It's like, well, this is who we were hunting after.
Yeah.
And we ended up here because this is where we tracked her to. It's like, well, we already murdered the shit out of her because if she was with Dracula, like, we killed all those fucking dudes.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, we want to learn how to hunt vampires. And Alucard's bored out of his mind because he's the only one in his
Right.
castle. So he's like, I'll teach you how to do things. And then there's meanwhile it has another plot going on with Isaac, the other Forge Master from the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get revenge for Carmilla betraying Dracula. And so there's a
Shit's
lot.
become so Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
man.
it's kind of, exactly. And meanwhile, it's not really another subplot as so much as it's Carmilla's plan.
Yeah.
is also like coming in.
But you would say it's on par with 1 and 2 so far of what you've seen.
Absolutely.
Like I feel like they've all been of a good quality. The first one was a little too short. I feel like they kind of rectified that a little bit. The second one dragged a little bit in the middle when they were in the library and they were kind of just hanging around there for a while. But it was fine. I mean,
it doesn't drag as much. Like I thought it was going to, because it's still very wordy. Is the best way of putting it. It's still a lot of
monologues,
a lot of build up, a lot of them. But the difference is there's more of a mystery to it now.
Okay,
because before it was just like, well, I'm just waiting till you get to fight Dracula.
Right.
So a lot of this is just me being annoyed that you're just sitting here reading, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, well, we don't know what's going on in there. We need to know what's going on in there, kind of thing. So it's a lot of them like slowly unraveling what's going on with you. And then Alucard stuff is just this almost kind of sweet thing about him making new friends.
Is Warren Ellis still writing it?
Yes.
Okay.
He wrote all of these as well.
That's all I care about.
And even the stuff with Isaac I think is really interesting, because it's just showing like he's trying to figure out what he wants to do now. He's trying to figure out if he wants to follow what Dracula wanted to do or if he wants to follow his own footsteps, kind of thing. And I really like it a lot so far. Like I said, I'm only halfway through it. So I'm pretty excited to see the rest of it goes.
Okay, cool.
And Trevor and Sif are just, they're so sweet. In the best possible way.
Speaking of things that are super sweet, I don't know if you've been living under a rock or you haven't heard, or you've just been living under a rock with your fingers in your ears going la 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 la. But we got a demo for Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. And I thought that we would take just like not a long time. I don't want to get stuck on this for too long.
Yeah.
Because I had some people on my YouTube channel that were complaining about like my quote unquote review when we played it on the dojo, and I'm like, this isn't a review.
It's a demo, dude.
Yeah, I'm just playing it. We're making dick jokes. We're talking about what we like and stuff. But
talking about how the Buster Sword is clearly compensating for something.
Not as much as Sephiroth's sword. So you played it.
Yes,
I played
did.
it. I thought it was okay. It got me a little bit more excited than I was, but it also got me thinking about. I really just don't understand. Okay, I was thinking about this a lot, and help me understand if you understand. Like, you have your turn-based strategy games, right?
Yeah,
and then you have like action games, right? And then you have like we've had a whole crop of pretty good like action RPGs, not ARPGs, but like The Witcher 3, right? Where you do have to fight in real-time combat, but then you have a whole bunch of like different stats and things, and you can equip yourself different ways.
Spells and such.
Or like Souls, right?
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
Or even like God of War, it has some of that in it.
Yeah.
The thing is that for my money, it's weird because like Final Fantasy VII demo is real-time, and I'm not a big fan of that. But the thing is that it doesn't feel as like tight as one of those games as like Souls or Witcher, or I don't know. You could maybe even tell me how it feels in relation to like Kingdom Hearts, which I felt like was even a better implementation of a real-time third-person action RPG.
Well, the main issue I have with it is that every enemy is a bullet, or not a bullet sponge, but they're sponge.
Yeah.
Whereas like you feel the hits which is the one thing I like about it more than Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts are just sort of flailing and it makes a small little sound. We're like, dink, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, okay, I can tell I'm hitting this thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 1 billion particles come off of everything that you hit.
But it doesn't feel like they stagger very well.
Yeah.
And I know it's like, well, build up the meter and then eventually those staggers. Like, that's great. Kind of. But the thing is, a lot of action games work in the fact that you can stagger things quickly and then go into this sort of attack mode. Whereas this is like, well, you have to use this one attack to stagger them. But you won't have that attack right away. You got to attack it for a while to fill up a meter, to maybe use thunder.
It was weird to me when I figured out that like you couldn't use magic outside a battle because you had to have an ATB gauge segment for magic as well as like the attacks.
Well, yeah, you couldn't just have MP
or items. You use items outside of battle, but
you can use items outside of battle, but you can't use your item without having an ATB meter, which is a pain in the ass because now you got to figure out, okay, well, am I gonna use thunder to weaken it, or am I gonna heal myself?
I guess
or am
it's-
I gonna use all my potions, kind of thing?
I guess it's kind of like a simulation of only being able to do one thing per turn, I guess, but it's all just so frenetic. And then I tried playing the classic mode.
Oh, the classic mode sucks.
I kind of liked it a little bit, and then all I had to do was manage the ATB gauge. But the thing is that it said it automatically set the game to easy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'd like to play it on like normal classic.
Yeah, because it turns him into like an auto thing.
Yeah.
Like he does anything, he does what he wants on his own. You can still use him like normal, but that's my issue with it is it doesn't even feel like classic mode, quote unquote,
yeah.
because it's not a turn based in any actual way.
Well, it's kind of like Final Fantasy 15 had a mode where it was like when you're in battle, if you weren't doing anything, it would like stop time, and then you could kind of like make your decisions, and then
it's
do
very
stuff,
similar to
but,
that. But my issue is just the fact that you still have to control everybody at once, and sometimes it'll be like, well, you can't hit this thing in this instance because Cloud is a sword guy,
Right.
so I have to switch to Barrett to use the gun.
Yep.
But everything is so spongy when it comes to like how much damage they take, which is okay, I guess, for the small enemies. But when you fight a boss and that boss is just will not fucking go down, it just gets really annoying really fast. And that entire time I fought that scorpion thing, I used like all of my potions because I was so annoyed that this thing just would not fucking go down.
What's funny is that I used all my potions the first time, and then the second time I used Cure. I used Barrett to cast Cure, which
Yeah.
was weird because I didn't know why. I don't know if it was like that in the original Final Fantasy VII, but I was
It
like,
was not.
Why does Barrett have Cure?
Like-
Can I take that materia and put it on Cloud? Like, I don't want Barrett to be the one to do Cure. I want him to do Lightning because the machines are susceptible to lightning. Like, I don't understand this loadout that you've given me, and then you level up all the time, but like, there is no.
I don't felt like anything happened.
Yeah,
Like, and I think it was a demo thing because at least in original Final Fantasy VII, Cloud just has thunder, and I don't even think anybody has Cure to begin with.
I don't think so either. I think
remember
it's just
correctly.
potions, but I don't know. I definitely say that. I mean, like, it wasn't not fun. It wasn't. It was. I had fun playing.
I liked it. It made me more interested in the idea of
yeah.
maybe playing this game, but right now it's enough to make me still wait, though, is the thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would like to. I also really like to see. I don't know. There's part of me that I can't do that. I was gonna say it wants to just wait for all of them to be out because I don't want to like
It would take so long.
get
though.
to the cliffhanger.
20
and-
years later, they finally come out with the last one.
Can you imagine what would have happened if on the PlayStation 1 they sold you the first disc of Final Fantasy VII and they were like, disc 2's coming in a year, and you'd be like, what? The what?
It'd be so frustrating. I think my favorite thing to come out of it, though, is that somebody edited that Grandpa Simpson yelling at the Cloud.
Oh, yeah.
It's just an old man yells at Cloud, and it's just a picture of Barrett yelling at Cloud.
With his finger out when he's pointing at Cloud. Barrett's dialogue from Final Fantasy VII comes off as I'm just like, Barrett, buddy,
Yeah.
you hired a mercenary, and you're like, why don't you believe in us? And it's like, because he's a mercenary. You didn't like recruit him. You
He said
hired
he's a
him.
mercenary a lot of times.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll do what you paid me to do, and it's like, that's not good enough. Don't you care about the planet? And he's like, not really. You hired me. Like, do you
Like-
not understand
how hiring works.
the nature? It'd be like if somebody hired you to work at like a Wendy's or something, and then they're like, why aren't we best friends? And you're like, because it's a job, man.
I
Like-
just started. Like, it's in 10 minutes. Don't you believe in our message? What?
Also, I've got some problems with that Wendy's breakfast baconator. I
I heard about that.
I don't think that we need to live in a world where it's like they replace the hamburger with a sausage patty and then eggs and then like 8 strips of bacon or something, and it's like, here's your breakfast, and I'm like, good lord, I'll just eat that and then die immediately.
Yeah, I think I'm good from that.
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to subject myself to it. I don't bounce back as much from these food adventures as I used to. In any case, the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo's out, and you should give it a shot. And you should stop telling me that I'm reviewing it, because I'm not reviewing it. And I'm slightly more excited, but also the more you try to tell me how excited I'm supposed to be, the more I'm willing to just bullheadedly not do a thing where they're like, take this potion, it'll save your life. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Like, no, you have to do it now. And I'm like, fuck you, bitch, I'm gonna die. I don't even care about your potion anymore. Wait, hold on, give me the potion. Bam, throw it on the ground. I don't even want it. I only like grape flavored potions.
Suck it.
Well, speaking of demos, we also got a big chunk of gameplay for Half-Life Alyx. There was some from Valve, and then there was also some from IGN. that kind of just shows like walking around and shooting some head crab zombies. There's some parts that I showed Michael one of these videos. The IGN video has a lot more to it. Like there's one part where Alex finds a construction helmet and puts it on, and then like later on when she's walking, she walks underneath one of those little like the grabby guys from Half-Life, and then it actually just grabs the hat off of her head instead of her.
That explains, yeah, because the demo you showed me still showed that you can do that.
Yeah.
Or put the hat on, but I didn't realize what the point of the hat was.
Also, in the room that we saw where she does whatever that like upgrade is, there's also a thing where you can put in stuff to like in the demo on IGN they put a reflex sight on the pistol.
Okay.
It looks really good.
It looks really good. And all of the stuff here actually looks like it could actually, or that it is most likely actual gameplay.
Oh yeah,
because it is very nauseating, and and you have to move with that specific cursor kind of thing.
Oh, the teleport.
Yeah.
In the IGN demo, they actually showed that you can also just set it to like walk forward, like you can set it to just move in a direction. But it's pretty, I mean, like, it looks really nice. It's also interesting because I feel like it's been so long since we've had any official Half-Life gaming, and to see, like, Half-Life, but it looks brand new instead of,
Yeah, seeing a head crab in, like, super HD on purpose is kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The gameplay, like I said, it actually looks really nifty. I don't think that... The problem that I'm having is that unless this comes to anything but the Vive, which I don't think it's going to, I'm pretty sure it's there to sell Vives, like, I don't have a computer that's good enough to run this game, even if I had the, $1,100 to buy a Vive. So
it's a super bold move to essentially lock this behind a very expensive piece of hardware.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what, so I'm both irritated and not irritated because... Like, I think that in order for VR to succeed, you need stuff like this, stuff that's only available in VR that has enough of a draw that people will literally buy a VR headset just for this.
I think it's a good idea in that kind of way because the one of the main issues I think VR isn't working is that there's not enough like actual exclusivity to them. A lot of it's just like, well, you can play this without a VR headset. Right. There's a lot of that going on, so I don't know.
Please, Valve, I know you're listening, Valve. You're always listening because I have Steam open. Please, Valve, don't make Portal 3 only for VR because I'll sell my blood and my house and my soul in order to play Portal 3.
They'll turn it into Artifact. It's fine.
It's Portal 3, JK. It's Artifact in VR. You get to play one level of like Portal 3 VR, and then GLaDOS challenges you to play Artifact for
forever and ever.
And she's like, oh, do you not want to play Artifact? Well, we can play Dota 2 if you want. And I'm like, no, this really is hell. Crap. But
that
no,
interesting.
This looks good. And good news, if you wanted to play, Alex, and you did have a lot of money and you weren't a poor YouTube schlub like Jeff from Rage Select, because Valve is bringing they've got a new round of Vive headsets.
Oh.
Like they were sold out in November, but the Index should be back, and they're going to be doing available for purchase on March 9th. And yeah, it'll be 6 p.m., 1800 UTC. I don't understand what other time zones are.
Forgot what that means. I used to know what that means.
But by the time you hear this, if you have the money to buy a Valve Index and you're going to be awake on March 9th in the morning or whatever, I'm sure they're going to go like in a minute. Like I'm sure they're going to come up and 10 minets later they're all going to be sold out.
How much are they normally?
I think that the Index is the newer ones, and I thought they were at least 1,000, if not more.
Christ almighty.
Because the Index, they're 1,000. Yeah, they're 1,000.
Oh, Jesus.
There was actually some kind of like weird upgrade version that you could do if you went from the Vive to the Index. Like you could buy just some of the parts that you needed, I think. Or like because the lighthouses, that you put in the corners to control where it sees. I think those are the same for both of them. So I think you could buy just the headset without the lighthouses.
Oh, okay.
And then they had an upgraded controller, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. In any case, this is probably going to be your last chance to get one of these before Alex comes out if you need one. So,
Yeah.
you might want to get on that, but also I feel like it's going to be one of those like store is open and they're all sold out.
Most likely, yeah. Especially with how limited they seem to be every time.
Yeah. Well, and then right now, the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So
Coronavirus is taking out a lot of people right now.
yeah.
Almost took out James Bond.
We'll come back to the coronavirus in a little bit, but and then one last piece of news. This is actually really interesting, and I didn't actually see this one coming. There was an interview last week with somebody from Valve, and if my computer is so slow that it won't even bring stuff up anymore, that they said, Robin Walker from Valve said, Half-Life means a lot to us, and it's been incredibly rewarding to refamiliarize yourself with the characters, settings, and mechanics. There are Half-Life Alyx team members who have been at Valve since Half-Life 2, and quite a few who go back to the original Half-Life. And then basically they said, we absolutely see Half-Life Alyx as our return to this world, not the end of it. So there's a possibility that this might be the beginning of Valve actually making Half-Life games again.
Half-Life Artifact. I called it.
Half-Life Artifact. I kind of have a story about something like that later, but yeah, I don't know.
Half-Life mobile game.
I often wonder if when was the last time you played Half-Life 2, Michael?
10 years ago.
Yeah,
probably when the Orange Box was out.
I played it when I got the DevKit 2 Oculus because it was compatible. I forgot. One, that the boat sequence and the driving sequence go on for fucking ever.
For so long.
And two, Valve was very, very proud of their physics systems and their physics puzzles.
Yes.
Like, there was a lot of, like, putting a body in a boat tied to a rope so that it'll open a door or something. And I don't think it holds up quite as well.
The craziest thing happened to me when I last played it, though, is that I was laying down playing it. What I used to have was like, say this is because I'm on a couch right now. Say that the TV was like right here, and I was laying right here watching it up. I played like that for like maybe 8 hours.
Michael's saying laying down long ways and then looking at a TV that's like over the arm of the couch.
After I was done for a bit, I got up, and then my vision just went like that.
Just fell?
Like, yeah, it was like as if I was looking like at a crouched kind of position.
Okay.
And I was just like, I couldn't figure out where up was down and down was up kind of thing. So I had to like sit down for a while because I was just like fucking directionless.
That was the first time after I played Half-Life 2 and I took the headset off and I was just like, oh, fucking Jesus.
I don't know what caused it, but it's never happened again.
Well, there you go. So yeah. We got some information about Final Fantasy VII. We got some information about Half-Life. We also got a brand new bright and shiny trailer for Ghost of Tsushima.
That Samurai Jack game's looking great.
No, it doesn't. Don't lie to the people. This is. We saw the trailer for that game last week, and it does not look great.
So that's not what this is?
No, that's not what this is. What's interesting, though, is that we finally got some information about what the actual story of this game is.
He fights Aku.
No. Stop it. Stop trying to make Samurai Jack this game. I don't want that. It looks like it's going to be fighting Mongols, like Assassin's Creed. It looks a lot like Assassin's Creed.
It kind of does.
Like if somebody told me at the last minute that this was like Assassin's Creed Japan, I would be like, oh, okay, I get that.
It's actually much more interesting with the story than I thought it would be because everything they showed was just a lot of like normal samurai stuff, I guess is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's kind of action slashing guys.
I was like, that's kind of neat, I guess. But what is my motivation kind of thing? And this is like he's not really all that like super samurai looking so much as he's just what it says, kind of like a wandering ghost.
Yeah,
and I like that.
It seems like his people get wiped out. There's like a Mongol invasion, and then he like renounces his samurai ways and goes to be all shitty, like underground samurai fighting guy.
Yeah.
So I think it looks great. I mean, I'm a big fan of who is this? Sucker Punch? No, I don't. No,
I can't remember.
Who was this that made Infamous? Right?
Oh, I think it is Sucker Punch. I think
it's Sucker Punch, right?
That sounds right.
I'm sure it says at the end with the logos, but. Well, maybe not. I can never remember. I always get so confused about like Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog and
yeah.
I don't know.
They all blend in together after a while.
In any case, I liked their previous games. I liked Infamous Second Son, even though I hate Delson Row, which should tell you something. So it's like, and this looks really good. Like I can't wait to play this.
It looks more. It looks more different than anything they've done prior to this.
Mm-hmm.
It also looks like a lot different than most things out now.
It looks like it. You know what it is? It's like if Neo was super fun, then I would like to play it. Like I wanted to like Neo and Sekiro so bad, but both those games were just like it's hard and it's long and hard, and I'm like I don't want long and hard. I want short and smushy, flaccid and short. That's what I'm looking for in my video games. And this looks like it looks like a good time. And the big kicker here is at the end we found out that we're not gonna have to wait long. June 26th.
Which is crazy as hell, guys.
Yeah.
We've been spending like forever trying to figure out when this thing's going to come out.
3 months. 3 months we're going to get this game.
Super exciting.
Yeah. I think this is probably the most excited or the most surprised I've been since the Fallout 4
announcement. Yeah.
And then it was, it's going to be out by the end of the year type of thing. But like we didn't have jack shit information about this outside of there's that one E3, the big E3 trailer. There was like the E3 teaser, the big E3 trailer that they did at the two years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2-3 years ago.
And then we got one that was like that weird thing where they're like guys on a bridge razzling somebody, and then he walks up and kills them.
Oh yeah.
But this was like, hey, here's the story, and here's the release date. It's like great. Thank you so much for not releasing this story trailer 2 years ago and then making me have to be like, well, here we go. Another trailer for Ghost of Tsushima. Just put it out already. Come on.
Now it kind of is just put it out already because I really want it.
Yeah. Well, it looks great. It looks absolutely
very
great.
exciting.
It looks absolutely great. Okay, we've got more fantastically hyped up news. Maybe somewhat.
Sucker Punch.
Oh, it is Sucker Punch. There we go. The logo just came up. More hype news about a property that everybody has feelings about.
Is it Scoob?
No, it's not Scoob. What do you think it is, Michael? Let's play a game.
See,
here.
now I fucked up my mind. I almost said Samurai Jack again.
No, it's not Samurai Jack.
Is it Half-Life?
No, it's not Half-Life. It's Star Wars.
Oh.
So strangely enough, there was a Reset Era user who's been like trolling, who not trolling, but like they keep track of like the database entries on the PlayStation Store. And a couple days back, the European PlayStation Network put up like a listing for a store page for something called Star Wars Project Maverick.
Huh.
And it's got some art that looks like a bunch of Star Destroyers on Mustafar and no information whatsoever. There's a lot of wild speculation. The thought right now is that this is going to be a re-release of all of the Rogue Squadron games in HD on current gen consoles.
That pleases me.
Well, somebody who actually, I was looking one day for something to play for the show, and I got really close to trying to get Rogue Squadron 3 running in like an emulator or something.
Okay, I used to have it somewhere. I think I got rid of it.
It would be nice to basically, because I never played those. I played.
Oh, really?
Well, I played like TIE Fighter and X-Wing, and then
They're
I went
very difficult. Is the thing about them.
Then I went to play Rogue Squadron. And I'm like, this is for babies, and it's hard. It's for hard babies. I can't play this hard baby game. Anyway, but this was back before I was a console or really that many console gamers. So I would look forward to giving the franchise a second chance.
If they do that, yeah.
I've heard good stuff.
They were fun.
Yeah.
They were a lot of fun for their time.
Isn't it like the third one where you can actually get out and run around with a lightsaber or something?
It was.
That's weird.
It wasn't nearly as great as it sounds.
This is real weird. That's real strange. So yeah, we don't know what Star Wars Project Maverick is.
It's going to be Maverick, but in space.
What the
yes, the cowboy card movie and show.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the old man who flies an airplane in the movie Top Gun.
I was not, but I think that's the name of the sequel, isn't it?
Yep, Top Gun Maverick. All right. From there, let's move from a franchise that everybody has feelings about, Star Wars, to another franchise that everybody has feelings about. Do you want to guess which one this one is?
Jeopardy.
It's a lot of people have bad feelings about it. I'll give you even more information.
Fuck. Is it also Star Wars?
Yes. No, it's Fallout 76.
Oh, I was close.
So, all right. I only put this on here because I think it shows just like, okay, I think that we've all been sitting around for years going like, what the fuck is going on at Bethesda?
I don't know anymore.
So there was this interview with US Gamer with Pete Hines, their vice president, and here's a quote, and I'd like to read this quote. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, our intention was always we're going to put this out there, see what folks think, and then cater the stuff that we do later to their reaction. So, for example, I think we were a little surprised how few people wanted to take part in PvP and how many more they were interested in PvE together, as opposed to I want to test my mettle against you. Let's get into a duel. There's some folks who do. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a smaller percentage of our player base than we thought. So Pete Hines, VP at Bethesda, when they were making Fallout 76, they were like, dude, you know what people who play Fallout are going to want to do? PvP. They are going to want to shoot each other so much in this franchise that is about single player exploration and like creating your own narrative and a story.
Where the shooting never feels very well.
And the shooting always feels like garbage, and it doesn't really work very well. We have a whole system in place called VATS to obfuscate the shooting if you don't want to do it, but they're going to want to shoot each other.
Oh my God.
And then when they put it out, they were like, why aren't they shooting each other? What do you mean they want to shoot the animals? They're supposed to shoot each other. It's like, what? What? Do you guys even understand what your games, like why people play your games?
They don't.
I don't think they do.
It's obvious they don't at this point.
I don't think they do. I don't know. It was just one of those things where I read this article and then I read the quote and I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
That's such a bad idea.
Speaking of things that don't make any sense, more Fallout 76 news. Apparently people in Fallout 76 are going around intentionally infecting themselves with diseases. Because apparently there are Atom coins that you can get from achievements for getting like specific diseases in the game, or like being encumbered or doing things. So there's a whole Polygon story about people like trying to get this one very elusive disease so they can like complete the achievement to get all of the diseases in Fallout 76. So, you know, like Pete Hines, they don't want to shoot each other, but if you put in achievements for them to get sick, they'll let the rad roaches bite them until they get blood worms so that they can get the achievement for being sick with a disease. This game sounds amazing. I haven't heard a game that sounds this good since Pathologic 2.
This game just makes me sad the longer it goes on.
Yep.
How?
I don't know.
How has this gone on for so long?
I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say about this. It was mostly just a transition story because people are getting sick in Fallout 76, but they're also getting sick in the real world. That coronavirus.
Oh yes, let's go with
so we've been talking last week about for 2 weeks now about developers dropping out of GDC
Yes.
because they're like we don't want to and PAX and a lot of other places.
That's crazy.
Well, guess what, Michael? GDC is postponed.
Oh, okay. It's a smart move, I think, to be honest.
Yes. Basically, GDC looked around and they were like, we don't have any of the Ds for our GDC this year. So they decided to postpone it. I don't think they have like any specific. I mean, this is obviously in response to developers dropping out.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you can't just like be like, I guess we'll do it in September because who knows what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So GDC is no mas. Actually, there's a few other things that I didn't even realize had been canceled that were also canceled. There's just like a Taipei game show that was canceled, and then there was something else that was the EVE Online
Oh yeah, that's right.
thing got canceled as well.
I think it got moved somewhere, didn't it? Or did it just get outright canceled?
I don't know. I didn't look at that because I was more interested in finding out whether the big one is E3 going to be canceled this year.
Huh.
What do you want to put? We should make a side bet over here. What do you think about South by Southwest? Will South by Southwest be canceled?
There's no way.
No.
It has too much money tied into it.
Too much money. Yep.
It's insane.
Yep. Too much money. But the real question is that, like, by July, the way that things are going, we could be in the middle of, like, kind of bad times. And I don't know if you want to have, you know, the LA Convention Center full of greasy gamers who don't wash their hands, and then they're all touching controllers and then handing the controllers to other people. Man, it'd be like that episode of It's Always Sunny. I'm just gonna soak myself in hand sanitizer, shave off all my hair.
Yeah, that's they say you got to survive it now or whatever. Shave your heads.
Shave your head. Michael and I both did
Yeah,
it.
we're way ahead of them.
Yeah.
Can't get me
what about
coronavirus.
beards? What if you have to take your beard off? Take your beard off.
And then I'll buy a fake beard.
Okay.
I'll make a paper beard.
Like a Santa beard?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like a bunch of hand turkeys just glued to your face.
Exactly. That's exactly what you need to do, guys.
Yeah. So last Wednesday, California declared a state of emergency. They've got more fatalities coming in. Coronavirus, no good.
I thought you were going to say they made a state of emergency over E3.
No.
The Ubisoft dancers are coming back.
No.
We must stop them.
No. We had E3's been canceled. Nobody tell Aisha Tyler. Just everyone's just gonna. No, we're not. No, Aisha, we're not having E3. No, it's fine. It's fine.
You don't have to worry about it.
I'm the only person in the world who doesn't like Aisha Tyler.
Oh, really?
Hosting the Ubisoft. I know. I think her jokes are cheesy. Like, I think she's a good actress.
Well, I thought you were going to say you didn't like her as a person. Like, no, her hosting, that makes more sense.
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, I think she's fine.
I really don't think she's great as a host either. But
Yeah.
no one has ever shown they're great as a host on that thing. Probably
Cheesy joke.
ever.
It's that one guy that Sony had that they fired that used to do the gaming commercials.
That dude was great, though.
He was good.
He's a really good comedian.
He came out that one year and fucking slayed. Like, just like, fucking games! It was like, yeah, this guy gets it!
He was so good.
In any case, we'll know more coming soon. In the meantime, I mean, keep yourself safe.
Yes.
Everybody just, like, go...
Wash your hands, people.
Well... I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I'm not here to tell people. Yeah, just say everyone wash your hands all the time, and like, look, don't go. If you're like a regular person in good health, don't buy 18 cases of water and all the masks you can find.
Oh, yeah,
like other people probably need them. So just. And I'm not a big fan of that. Like maybe buy one case of water, but don't get crazy. Buy like 4 days worth of food and water, like some cans and a thing of water, right? Just enough to like kind of, keep it going on the edges, but don't pretend like the world's about to end. This ain't Fallout 76, man. Like,
yeah, I went to HEB and their whole area is just wiped out. Like there's a guy who's about to stock more of those like Lysol wipes. He got surrounded by like old women, just completely surrounded. I felt so bad for the guy. He was like desperately trying to be like, it's limited, like a few for people. Please get back. Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, hell, when I go to the grocery store here, when there's like a large storm coming and there's like a 4-hour line, or last year we had that.
Was the hurricane thing?
When the water, we had that thing for like 3 or 4 days where you had to boil your water because there was like flooding into the reservoirs or stuff like that. And then just like every bottle of water in the entire grocery store was gone. And I couldn't get Amazon even to deliver any. They were just like, yeah, we don't got any water over here.
It's all gone.
Like, all right, I guess I'll just boil some water and brush my teeth. And
yeah, my roommate bought like 3 or 4 bottles. Not for us, mind you. It was for our dog. Because I have a bunch of soda, and if I'm going to dehydrate, it's purely because of my soda.
All right. All right. So, in the beginning, Michael, I told you about the Misery Mile. I think we're getting ready to head there. Even though once again, I need to start having less stories because we're always out of time.
There's a lot of stories.
All right, so let's go down the road. Warcraft 3 had a big tournament, and it was plagued by disconnections between the people.
Oh my God.
And what was so weird was there was like a Swedish guy and then like a Korean dude, and then like the Swedish dude had an advantage and was like going in for the kill. Connection dropped. They had to restart the match because they don't pick up from the place.
Yeah.
They restart the match. Second time, he fucked up the Korean dude's gold mine, got 1,000 gold up, had his upgrade things working, was getting ready to push in. Connection dropped. Nothing happened. They switched to classic mode. But this is so fucked up about this and kind of about esports in general. By the time they did that, the Korean dude, like, he had figured out how aggressive this other guy is.
Yeah.
And so he was able to come back and win like 2-1 against this guy after that guy was getting ready to stomp him multiple times in a row. And just boo, man.
Yeah, that's not fair at all.
Yeah, that's no good.
That should not count at all. You should have just switched opponents by that point.
Yep. I think they I think it was actually like a GoFundMe where like the community was like, we want to like match the prize pool from first place and just give it to this guy because we feel like he got shafted.
He got super shafted.
But like, you
fuck
know,
them.
this is no good, Blizzard. This is no good. Like,
Jesus Christ, Blizzard.
you had to, you know, I put you right next to Bethesda because you two have been doing things where I'm like, what are you doing? Just stop for like 5 minutes. Just stop doing things. So in other esports news, last week we had a story about this guy who was an outspoken critic of FIFA who like walked out of one of the tournaments after somebody used like a cheap like exploit to do a goal on him. And he spent all his time on his YouTube channel. That guy's kind of an irrational asshole.
Oh, okay.
But then they like perma-banned him from everything. And I was like, I don't know. That seems a little harsh. How bad is FIFA? Well, Michael, the answer is that at one FIFA esports event last week, it was so bad that the two competitors could not connect via the netcode of FIFA. And once this process was unable to happen, they solved the match by doing rock, paper, scissors with each other.
Are you serious?
And not actually playing FIFA.
This is a real thing that happened.
Oh, yeah.
This is not an Onion article.
Oh, no. This happened. They did rock, paper, scissors. And the thing is that, like, I know that aren't there some sporting events where, like, if there's a tie and then you go to sudden death and then you go to double sudden death, but nothing will happen, eventually they're just like, all right, flip a coin, right? And then we'll do it. I'm pretty sure there are some sports where...
maybe, because it would take so much work to get to that point.
Right.
Is the thing.
But this one went like that. It went like that.
This was just, hey, we can't connect. Well, fuck you then. Rock, paper, scissors.
Your netcode is shitty. And then, well, the thing is, I think they said they couldn't find each other. They couldn't match the match up correctly.
That makes even less sense.
And the other thing is that this is FIFA 20, the game that came out last year, right? This didn't come out like 3 months ago, and they're like shaking down the code. This isn't like Warcraft 3, where they got a problem to fix it. This is like some shit that has been out for a while.
What the fuck?
So, well, you know, EA likes money, and they don't like to make video games. They like to make just enough video game to make money, and that's all the video game they want to make.
That's so insane.
Yeah. Well, speaking of insanity, last week we've been seeing some news come through about games getting taken off of the NVIDIA GeForce Now service. Blizzard pulled all their shit, so there's some more Blizzard for you. Bethesda pulled all their shit, so there's some Bethesda for you.
Oh, God.
Last week we got a story that The Long Dark has also been pulled from GeForce Now.
I don't know what that is.
It's a survival game where you're like in the tundra and you've got to survive.
Oh, okay.
And there's like deer trying to kill you and colds trying to kill you.
Okay, then.
It's one of those survival games.
Yeah.
But the developer went on to Twitter and basically said, sorry to those who are disappointed that you can no longer play The Long Dark on GeForce Now. NVIDIA didn't ask for our permission to put the game on the platform, so we asked them to remove it. Please take your complaints to them, not us. Devs should control where their games exist. Apparently, also, NVIDIA, as a way of saying sorry, sent them a free video card. Hey, NVIDIA, I would like a free video card.
That's weird. It's very strange.
It is a little strange, though, because here's the thing that I keep coming back to. NVIDIA doesn't, like, they have a, it's like $5 a month, right?
Yeah.
For the premium service. I don't know if these devs want to get paid, but, like, you don't just get The Long Dark if you sign up for the GeForce Now service. You have to already own it on Steam. So it seems weird to me that these companies are just like, you got to pay us. And it's like, but why? The customer has already paid you.
Yeah.
You're just asking the customer to pay you a second time. And I don't think that NVIDIA has even anything set up to let you buy stuff through that service. Pretty sure you just log into your Steam account and then install stuff. So
I don't know. That's so weird that if that's my understanding of it based on what you've told me, I don't understand why so many of them are so like against it.
I don't know. I mean, for Blizzard and for Bethesda, I can see them having a big enough library that they might be able to say, hey, you need to sign us a kickback for 1% of your thing if you want our games on. But for like, you know, for this guy, I'm like, it's The Long Dark, man. Like,
it's
not
$20.
Exactly everybody's game of the year from last year or anything.
I've never even heard of it until today.
Yeah. So
maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Maybe. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the guy is money hungry. But I'll tell you who is money hungry for sure. And that is the makers of Dead or Alive 6, because Tecmo Koei has instituted a new thing. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you've heard of this, Michael, but to change your hair color in Dead or Alive 6 requires a consumable item that must be purchased with real-world money.
A consumable?
Yes. It is $1 per time you would like to change your hair color in Dead or Alive 6.
Oh my god.
Yes. Wow. Amazing.
What?
Now, I don't know. This may sound weird. I'm not especially shocked because, okay, we're going to do a little experiment here.
Oh.
I don't know if you know this, Michael.
No, I know about the insanity that is Dead or Alive DLC.
Okay, Dead or Alive 6 costs $30 on Steam right now. If you get the 407 pieces of DLC and tally them all up, your grand total is $1,941.33.
Yeah.
So
They're really, really bad about their DLC, guys. Like, holy
Yeah.
shit. Like, you like if you go to the PlayStation Store and be like, add-ons, like 30% of it is just Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Like, literally, just like the whole chunks of that page.
Yep.
Like, they make it impossible to actually view, like, by recent add-ons.
Because nobody else in the world has 400 pieces of DLC for their game.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah, that should not be allowed. We should write laws. I mean, I don't care if we write laws or not.
Oh, they need to figure out that shit. And when it comes to sort by, that's all I gotta say.
I guess the thing for me is that, like, who the fuck is still playing Dead or Alive 6? Anybody?
I don't know.
Is somebody playing Dead or Alive 6?
Somebody
Is
in
it? Dead or Alive hasn't been at Evo for the last 5 years. It's
Somebody's
like,
upset about this. That's all I have to say.
I mean, that makes them greedy as fuck, but like they've been greedy as fuck for a while now. So
It's been years. Yeah, Dead or Alive 6 came out, what, 3-4 years ago? Something like that?
It was like maybe
It's
two.
been out for a while. I don't know. Either way. Well, actually, no, yeah. I'm probably thinking of Dead or Alive 5. Because Dead or Alive 5 also had the same thing going on.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. In further news about getting ripped off, there's a Brazilian Counter-Strike pro player who has the possibility of getting a large jail sentence. The headlines for these are all very sensational because they're like, Counter-Strike pro player to go to jail for 116 years. Turns out that this person was connected up with a somewhat shady online store, and there were like there was like 150 people who ordered stuff and then never got the product from them, and that they filed a suit against the site as like, you guys just fucking stole our money and you didn't give us anything. This person, though, whose name is Shay Victorio, she's like basically, apparently it works differently in Brazil. She's like kind of in police custody, but that doesn't mean she's in jail.
Oh, okay.
It just means that she like can't leave. And apparently there's lawyers that are working on this. But it's kind of interesting when you hear the shit coming in from other countries. So
That's kind of amazing.
yeah. Yep. And of course the 116 years is like the maximum jail sentence that could possibly be
They probably
handed
won't
down.
completely do that.
Probably nothing is actually going to happen.
They'll probably just kill her. I'm just kidding. Who knows what they're going to do? Force her to play Counter-Strike forever? I don't know.
All right, we're coming out of it, Michael. We're coming out of it. We're into only the kind of like not the worst, but still maybe somewhat disappointing news.
Oh, okay.
This week, Bloodstained Symphony of the Night announced that one of their Kickstarter goals,
Ritual of the Night.
Ritual of the Night.
Yes. Thinking of another game.
One of their Kickstarter goals was that if they got enough money, they were going to make essentially a randomized roguelike feature that would make a fresh castle. That would just randomize the game into a fresh castle, and then you could just play it. Kind of like Dead Cells or something like that. Apparently, one of the developers came out and said, like, they've looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and, like, part of the base code isn't compatible with being able to make a, like, randomized map that is coherent.
Oh,
Like, they can make a random map, but it just doesn't work.
It just won't like connect in a way that makes it doable to beat at all.
Right. So instead, they are going to be putting out what they call the randomizer. Randomizer is going to basically remix where everything is, remix where bosses are, and then remix like which bosses you need to beat in order to beat the game.
Okay.
To just let you go back in and do stuff. So that's fine with me. I like Bloodstained a lot, and I've got Dead Cells for all my roguelike needs, so
And there's a lot of games that are like that, literally are that exact type of thing. There's
Yep.
what isn't there one just called
Rogue Legacy.
Rogue Legacy? Yeah, that's just literally that. So
Yeah.
that's all it is just they didn't design the game around that, and it just turns out in the aftermath it's just not feasible.
Yeah.
And at least they're trying to do something different at least.
Yeah. And that's coming out pretty soon with the DLC that also lets you play as the David Hayter guy, the other protagonist.
I always assumed that was out already for some reason.
I don't think so. Let's see. All right, we're almost done, Michael. Shenmue 1 and 2 and Deus Ex Mankind Divided are leaving Game Pass.
Oh no, Shenmue 1 and 2, come
So
back. I'm sorry.
Get them while you can. just
Shenmue.
FYI. Yeah, I'm not getting them, but
Deus Ex Mankind Divided, that's a good one, though.
that's a fun one.
Go for it.
It's a fun one.
But just watch Shenmue 1 and 2 as a YouTube movie if you really care about its story.
True. Okay. In further news, this is one I didn't really know where to put, so it's kind of just like it's like a mystery box out of nowhere. I don't know if you know what this is, Michael. The Tomogunchi. So this is a little Tamagotchi that's like a watch.
Yeah.
This is $10, and this watch is not real. This watch goes on your character in Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
What?
And while you're playing multiplayer matches, you can bring it up and feed it and do stuff, and eventually the egg will hatch and it'll become a Tamagotchi, and then you have to feed it or else it'll die. And the only place that you do this is inside of Call of Duty Modern Warfare while you're playing multiplayer games. And I have no idea what to make of that. Like,
But it doesn't what?
yeah, I agree.
It doesn't do anything special. It's just a literal
It's just
Tamagotchi.
it's a Tamagotchi.
in the middle of war.
Yeah, you're just running around and
pull
you
out
hit
your
a button
Tamagotchi.
and you pull out your Tamagotchi, and I think you have to pull it out to like feed it and
Yeah.
keep it alive.
But like why?
And it's $10.
It doesn't like power up anything. It's just
Nope.
a literal Tamagotchi
Yep.
in the middle of this thing.
Yep.
God, I'm not mad. I'm not even disappointed. I am just confused.
Yeah.
Because it's the fact that it's behind a $10 thing is them going, we know full well that this makes no fucking sense.
That you will pay for 90s nostalgia.
And if you want to pay for this, that's on you.
Yeah. What's next? Slap bracelets.
Jesus.
All right, we're gonna get into high gear now. Rockstar has added some new weird art to their website, indicating that something might be coming pretty soon. One of them is like a futuristic cyborg lady hugging the Rockstar logo.
Yeah, I saw that. What the fuck's going on with
And
that?
then there's also a bunch of words inside of this new picture on their website with their logo, and the words say killing dreams, murdering hope, fighting the righteous, bullying the weak, and why don't you tell me what went wrong? And that's like all around their logo, this little writing that's inside of here. No idea, but we might be hearing something from Rockstar. I hope to God it's not fucking GTA 5 DLC, because I've stopped even reporting on it. There was like a whole F1 car thing that came out that I don't give a shit about.
This is too intricate to just be a DLC announcement, though. I feel it has to be something, either a new IP or maybe a new thing in something. I don't know. Maybe they're bringing back that spy game or something. I don't know.
Bully in Space.
Bully in Space. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
New GTA DLC.
New GTA 5 DLC that also takes place in space.
Just all bully.
Well, the only thing that gives me like a lot of hope is that Robot Lady was a very 80s robot lady.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is it going to be a new Vice City? Is
I'd
it
be
like
cool
Vice
with
City
that.
2?
I'd be very cool with that.
I'd be all right with that. Death Stranding got a PC trailer showing some new stuff. Photo mode, unlocked frame rate, head crab hat,
Yeah.
Valve on the back of your head. I'm not going to play this again on the PC, but I look forward to all of my PC brethren getting a chance to play Death Stranding, because I liked playing Death Stranding.
I look forward to the many insane mods that will appear from this.
Oh yeah. What do you replace with Thomas the Tank Engine? Is it when you get pulled down
be
by
one of
the
those
guys
giant-
and
yeah.
the cat monster
It
things?
would have to be one of those, I think.
Or is it just Higgs?
Because all the small ones are Shreks.
What if Higgs' mask is just the Thomas the Tank Engine face? He takes it off and he puts it back on.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's they're gonna replace Guillermo del Toro with Shrek,
Yeah.
and a bunch of the other guys with the somebody dabbing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you replace Die Hard Man with just like one of those horse heads.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right, good. I'm glad we're all on the same page for this. We also got a trailer for Marvel's got some new phone game called Marvel Future Revolution, which kind of looks like garbage. I don't know. It's like a multiverse thing. So there's a whole narration, and then there's a thing at the beginning saying that all the footage in the trailer is from the game engine, which is good because it kind of looks like garbage for a phone.
It doesn't look insane. Still looks more interesting so far than the Avengers game.
I don't know.
Which
It looks
is kind of sad to say.
What is it? It reminds me a lot of that Diablo game, right? The one that Cargo played all the time.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
The ARPG. But there's like a whole kind of like multiverse angle because at the end you got Spider-Man and then like Spider-Punk shows up and like some kind of alternate universe characters show up. There's Captain Marvel, and then there's like an alternate universe Captain Marvel, alternate universe Doctor Strange and stuff. I don't know. The thing is anymore, Michael, I can't get my hopes up that a phone game is going to be good because they're all trash. Or I don't know.
Or even when they're good, they're covered in microtransactions.
Yeah.
So I've never been excited for one of these because anytime I maybe even consider the idea, they just ask me for more money.
Yeah.
And I can't do it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. We also got a trailer for my most excited upcoming game, My Heroes One Justice 2, with some new characters. We got that Meatball guy, got Fat Gum, got Gang Orca, Cammy from that other school with the tornado guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember anybody's name.
It's difficult. Everybody's names are so goddamn Japanese.
Yep. So, and this game looks great, and I want to play it. And especially after One Punch Man being such a letdown.
God, that game's let us down so much.
The first My Hero One's Justice was pretty good.
It was a lot of fun.
So at least like we can get. I mean, it looks like just nothing but blatant fan service. Like just like, hey, you like these guys, right? Do play this part of the anime, and it'll be easy.
It looks like fun fan service though.
Yeah. What doesn't look like fun fan service, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not a fan, is the Division 2 Warlords of New York, but there was a launch trailer that came out for that. I don't know, what's your take, Michael? The Division 2 went on sale a few weeks back for $3, and then the expansion is $30.
Oh yeah,
so it's like
that's their big plan.
Yeah,
the coronavirus is just an advertisement for the Division.
Oh Jesus. Oh Lord,
that's the plot of the first one, isn't it, or whatever?
Well,
like Black Friday, disease on the money.
The money.
I saw a news story where they said coronavirus might be on people's money. I'm like, the Division is happening.
Oh God, yeah.
I should have known.
If we have to deal with a bunch of armed gangs roaming the streets with machine guns for no reason in this town, I'm going full vigilante. I'm going to go out there. I mean, I'll get killed right away, but
I'm sure it'll be fine.
This is anything. Anyway, I don't know. I'm still debating about whether to play this or like as the time of us recording this. So our Monday, Tuesday dojo videos, there's like not very much else coming out this week.
Oh, okay.
And I'm kind of split between playing this Division 2 expansion or the Arc System Works Grand Blue phone game fighting game spinoff that came out this week.
Apparently it's really good though.
That's supposed to be really good, but it's also full $60. I don't know. That's for me. You guys wait. Let me keep doing the podcast so you don't have to listen to that. We also got a cinematic trailer for this game called Quantum League that somebody in the Discord turned me on to. It's like this weird time loop 1v1 or 2v2. Kind of like when you two people fight each other, and then when one of them dies, it like goes back, and then a new set of them are spawned, and your previous ghosts do what they did before, and you can try to like save your ghost from getting killed the next time around. Seems like a really interesting concept. I'd be really interested to see how it actually plays out in execution.
It's a super interesting idea, and hopefully the time paradoxes don't blow up the universe or whatever.
It reminds me of when we played that Portal multiplayer game. That weird like Slipstream or something.
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
just like, what if we took every Halo asset and Portal asset and threw it in a game?
Oh yeah, I forgot how salty you were about the Haloization of
it. Was fucking
game.
Weird. But this looks like they have a good idea of what they want.
Yeah. Speaking of having a good idea what you want, the guy that's making the Monster Hunter movie has a good idea that he wants his wife to be in there.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on? Is Paul W.S. Anderson?
Yeah, of
or-
course.
And Mila Jovovich, we got some screenshots of Mila Jovovich holding a big Monster Hunter sword. How old is Mila Jovovich at this point?
I don't know, but she's on her like third kid.
Okay.
As well.
I'm pretty sure she's like in her 50s.
She's
Because I'm pretty sure I was
she's
lusting
good up
after
there.
her when I was a teenager and she was like in her early 20s. I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is I saw somebody on Reddit Photoshop that sword to be the actual size of a greatsword.
Oh, yes, from Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And this just falls over. And Tony Jaa. I don't know. Well, Dollars to Donuts Monster Hunter movie. Is it going to be any good, Michael?
I don't think
Survey
so.
says.
I'm gonna go with no.
I'm going to go with
It's a no for me, dog.
Okay, all right.
Because let's just. What's the plot idea? Is the
I don't know.
idea?
First Resident Evil movie wasn't bad.
Well, the idea for this is that a bunch of like military guys end up in the Monster Hunter world.
So it's Stargate.
It's kind of like Stargate,
Uh-huh.
but with Monster Hunter. And apparently, according to the rumor, is that the climax of the movie,
Sonic
is
comes out.
the monsters are going to end up in our world,
Uh-huh.
and there's going to be like fighting them all or something.
So it's like Stargate meets Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, it was Jurassic Park 2, actually.
Is that 2 where
That's
the monster
2.
okay, where
That's
the
one
T-Rex comes
is
to
in
New York
California, or whatever.
or whatever?
Or I don't remember where
I
it was. There's a beach there, I think. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Oh yeah, 3 was the one that was actually kind of okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's the end of Jurassic World, actually. Also, too, I guess, as well.
speaking of Monster Hunter, we're also getting some new baddies in Monster
Yeah.
Hunter. Iceborne on March 23rd. It's going to be the what are they called? Raging.
The Raging Brachydios and the Furious Rajang.
Okay, well there you go. Michael knows what's
Fucking
going on.
Super Saiyan Bajillion Rajang, that fucking crazy ass monster.
Someday there's going to be absolutely nothing for us to play, and we're like, all right, Michael, come install Iceborne, and I'll just sit here and you could tell me about it for an hour, and then we'll put that on the internet.
Yeah, I'm still like midway through it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know a game that you're not midway through. And that's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which apparently is
Yes.
getting the Time Machine update
Finally.
this month. So you can
Fucking-
go back and finish your side quests.
I'm missing 3 side quests, and
Oh.
it's infuriating me because I want to finish that. I've already platinumed the game because apparently the side quests have nothing to do with the rewards at all. Or
I just
the
don't understand why
trophies.
this wasn't in the game when it launched.
I
like,
don't-
it
I don't know
seems
what they're-
weird.
Yeah, it's actually the strangest thing about it. It's like, oh, you can't finish all your side quests because fuck you, I guess.
Yep.
And the worst part is like the little notification that tells me where to go to finish one keeps appearing.
Oh, sure.
And it's like, but I can't go back. Like I literally can't finish it.
It never goes away. Let's see. If you're a fan of Halo and you've got a PC, you can now finally play Halo Combat Evolved.
Yes.
They put it on the PC on the
Out of nowhere too.
Master Chief Collection, yeah. And also on Xbox Game Pass for the PC. So there you go.
Very exciting.
You can go install it right the fuck now. What you can install right the fuck now is yet another Baby Yoda mod for Battlefront 2,
jeez.
which they already had one, but somebody is working on another one with a slightly different model. I'm kind of amazed at how much Baby Yoda is like. Well, no, not really.
It's hard not to
It's
fall in love with that cute little bastard.
yeah,
Apparently they named a tank after Baby Yoda.
like a for reals,
Like an
in
actual
the
like
world,
like there's a military tank that says Baby Yoda written somewhere on it.
Nice.
If I remember correctly.
Nice. Well, people love Baby Yoda, but they don't like Rise of Skywalker. Maybe they'll like. There was a weird thing this week where Mr. Sunday Movies created a it looks like the old Star Wars 16-bit
Yeah, it's
Super
the
Star Wars
Super
game.
Star Wars stuff. I
there's
think that's a fun idea.
like a recreation of the end of Rise of Skywalker, and it kind of works better. There's even a point later on where they flash to kind of behind the back flying around
Oh, that's fun.
Poe Dameron.
I remember that kind of level.
Yeah. This is the same guy that did you ever see that was like the 16-bit Thanos fight? Where it
I
was
did
like-
see that one actually. I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was the same guy.
Same guy. He
That's
does a pretty
pretty
good
fun.
job. He does a pretty good job. And actually, this video is the video is 10 minutes long, but it's only about 4 or 5 minutes worth of the actual thing. And then the back half of it is just him talking about how he made it, his
Oh, okay.
inspirations, and that stuff. So
That's kind of fun.
it's pretty cool. Pretty
I
cool.
know they came out with that novelization that apparently explains a bunch of nonsense.
Man, the Rise of Skywalker spoiler channel on the Discord, it just keeps lighting up, and every time it's like, here's another dumb thing that they said
Yeah.
in the book, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, it
Oh,
keeps
it's even worse.
It just keeps makes some things slightly better.
Yeah.
Some things way worse.
Yeah.
And some things just make no sense whatsoever.
Well, Speaking of things that are really bad, World of Warcraft has a hill apparently that's just a giant butthole.
Oh my God! It just
looks
is
like
an ass.
it looks like a person bent over with a giant butt and then a big hole in it.
What?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
It even has the curvatures of like a person's back.
Yep, looks like a person bending over with the big butthole hanging out, and then there's a cave at the bottom.
That's the hill you want to die on, apparently.
Yes. And last but not least, one of the guys who keeps doing the things where you look at
The ass pictures is all over the screen.
you look at you move the camera around. The guy that found out that Lisa's behind your back in the PT
Oh, yes.
demo found that. Do you remember in God of War? The first time that you fight Baldur and you throw him down down that crevice, apparently you can't see it, but this guy disconnected his camera, and when that happens, Baldur like goes into this pose where he's got both of his legs out. And he's flipping off.
Oh my
The
God!
top of the thing, like no one could possibly see it unless you disconnect the camera. It's like a big Easter egg, but he's just flipping everybody off in this kind of really silly cartoon pose.
That's so him, though.
It's great.
Is the thing.
It's
I
great.
kind of love that.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to finish part one. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to answer questions. So everybody stick around, and we'll see you in just a minute. Michael,
Yes.
are you ready to answer some questions?
Maybe.
We've got a lot of questions.
This
You've
Coke
got
is very Japanese.
a lot of Japanese Pepsi up
Yes.
in my building.
I want to give a shout out to Marcus Jones for sending this to me, as well as to a bunch of, I guess, the Double Toasted guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't they used to do it with like a giant bomb? Didn't people used to just send them like weird candy and soda every
They
week?
did,
And then
yeah.
They would, like just eat them and
I
be
had
like,
I had something called like a crunch. It was like a chocolate crunch thing, but it had a cheese flavor to it. It was very strange.
okay. All right.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't super great either.
All right. Well, mail@ragesite.com is the email address. You can send in whatever weird thing you ate last week. We'll talk about it. Our first one this week actually came in the last time we did a podcast. It's specifically for you.
Okay.
It's very short, very sweet. Another Michael, I'm pretty sure this isn't you, wrote in and said, Michael, I hope you beat the Valkyrie Queen. I beat the Valkyrie Queen on New Game Plus. Took forever. Use the power of the runes, and that's for Mike.
He's not wrong. I'm still in the middle of that.
You still trying?
I'm still trying.
You haven't given up yet?
On and off. That Valkyrie Queen is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I always get to like a little more than half life down, and then I lose it every time.
Okay.
It's that landing thing when she jumps and like lands on you.
Dude, I don't know. I
It just
fought
kicks
like,
the shit out of you.
I fought like two of them and couldn't beat the second one because I didn't get that crazy armor that you got.
Yeah,
so.
Sindri's armor. Oh my god, it's the most OP thing I've ever seen in a game. Because
There you
the
go.
power of the ruins are just like phenomenally upgraded from then on.
Okay.
It's so good.
Our next question comes in from Marcus. Marcus says, hello, Jeff and Michael, masters of rage and allies of Doncles. Name 1 to 2 fictitious presidents in movies, TV, or video games that were memorable and inspiring to you, and why. My pick is President Laura Roslin of the 12 colonies on the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. She's a strong, determined tactical leader who put the colony's best interests first, even if she had to make tough decisions along the way. Keep the great work. Love the content you provide, and rage on. I'm a Patreon member, and your content keeps me subscribed. Marcus. And then he says, P.S. Thanks to Jeff, I decided to play Dead Cells again after abandoning it 2 years ago due to its difficulty. I completed the game in one go in my first sitting, and it's one of my favorite PS4 games of the last decade. Thank you, Jeff, for introducing me back into this game. You are awesome. Well, thank you. I'm sort of awesome, but I'm kind of a big deal around here in my house with my dog and on Rage Select. On Rage Select, I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everywhere else, no deal.
That talk about that street sometimes knows his name.
No deal.
Sometimes.
So like, okay, some fictitious presidents that you think are cool. I think you and I are going to have to fight for
President Solid Snake.
President Solid Snake. Yeah. Fucking Dr. Octopus president. I'm gonna raise up this oil platform full of Metal Gear and fight my weird adopted child soldier son with a samurai sword.
Guys, President Solid Snake was the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what his president name was.
George Sears.
Was it George Sears? Is
Yeah,
that his name?
that's his name, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I know it was Sears. I'm pretty sure it was George, though.
Either way, it was fucking crazy.
But it was so. I tell you what, the whiplash between because at the end, I'm sure that Kojima, I don't know, maybe had an idea or something, but he had that little stinger, which I feel like was just just out of my ass at the end, where it's Ocelot talking to somebody on the phone. And he's like, "No, thank you, Mr. President." And then he hangs up the phone, and then the next one, it's like, "Oh, we got to put the president in here," and then it's like, "Oh, the president's he's a clone, and he's got the octopus arms, and he's fucking skateboarding all over the place.
He fights with a katana sometimes, I guess.
Yeah,
Question mark.
got that P90. He's got his little buddies. He's got Fortune and Vamp and Fat Man.
What a fucking crazy game.
That game is weird. Of all the Metal Gear games, is 2 the weirdest?
I think it is, to be honest.
Or is 4 weirdest because 4 it has to tie together all these dumb plots, and then it's like
It's weird, but the thing is that it's once it starts saying nanomachines, the weirdness sort of comes down.
yeah.
Whereas Metal Gear Solid 2 is like, we're not going to explain any of this.
Oh,
Just go for it.
this lady is able to deflect bullets with her luck powers. Wait, it was technology. Wait, no, it wasn't. It was her actual luck the whole time.
Exactly. It's like there's that Vamp, all of Otacon's
all of
backstory.
Otacon's story, yep.
Like Raiden's entire thing going on with the people he talks to.
Your clone brother's arm is taking over my consciousness. And it's,
Liquid Ocelot,
what?
Solid Snake pretending to be a Marine.
Yep, I need scissors.
Just
it's all that
Metal
shit.
Gear Solid 2 is so fucking batshit insane.
Where Colonel Campbell tells you to turn off Metal Gear Solid 2 and stop playing it because you've been playing it for too long.
Which happened to me at the perfect time, by the way, which I know I've told you that story. It was like 3 in the morning, guys. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2 at 3 or 4 in the morning for hours, and that game finally was like, you should go to sleep. You've been playing for too long. And it's like, you're right, game. You're right.
Let's see.
President Camacho.
Who's that?
For the one from the fucking that movie by Mike Judge.
Oh, Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. I couldn't remember the name of it, but I just remember
Terry
the president's name.
Crews?
Yeah, Terry Crews is the president.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be a wrestler or something.
The guy from Metal Wolf Chaos.
Oh yeah,
He's the president.
Richard.
Richard. Actually, he's not Richard. Richard's the vice president, right? He's yelling.
No,
Richard's name.
yeah, his name is Michael though. His name is Michael, but he's always just yelling out Richard.
Richard. Driving around.
I forgot his last name. I think it's like Mike. I want to say it's Douglas, but I know it's not Michael Douglas. But fuck yeah, he is a
Michael Douglas is a pretty good fictional
yeah.
president.
Michael Douglas is also a very good
Got the
fictional president.
The West Wing. I watched
That's Martin Sheen actually.
like 2. Oh, Martin Sheen.
But Michael Douglas I think played the president in something else.
I'm sure he has.
I think Kurt Russell also played the president in that Steven Seagal movie. I think.
Okay.
I don't remember if he was the president or not.
I don't remember that. Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
You got to get off his plane, man.
Yeah,
He's
great.
good. He's a good president.
A great
He's a good fictitious
fictional president.
Um,
There's a lot of crazy fictional presidents.
you know who my favorite fictional president is, Michael? You know who my favorite fictional president of all time is? It's when there's a movie where it's just the back of the president's head.
Oh, yeah.
And like an impersonator, like doing kind of a half of like a George W. Bush voice or like an
Bill
Obama
Clinton
voice
kind of
or
thing.
yeah. And it's just either that or like in isn't it in a lot of the like in like The Rock? Isn't it just like a nondescript president?
Yeah,
like who like
actually.
signs the orders for something, and it's just like you better do it. Or maybe I'm thinking of Armageddon or something.
It's one of those two.
Or Transformers.
Well, Transformers actually had actual president names in it.
Yeah,
For some reason.
I just like I love it when a movie is like afraid to show you the face of.
Because it'll give you a time frame or something.
I don't know.
Really understand
I don't
the point of
know.
that. But I'm a big fan of President Arnold Schwarzenegger, and anytime it ever is said, either in Demolition Man or in the Simpsons movie,
Oh,
where he was the president.
yeah.
I was elected to lead, not to read. Gets me every time.
Yeah.
Fictional presidents, though, yeah. I almost fucking said Lyndon B. Johnson because of Metal Gear Solid 3, but I know
Oh,
Lyndon B.
man.
Johnson is real.
Yeah, there've been a lot of good ones. Let's see if we can find some more fictional presidents. in
Abraham Lincoln,
movies.
Vampire Hunter. I guess that counts as fictional.
Oh man, there's so many of these that I don't even. I don't.
What was the name of the president in 24?
Oh, there were so many of them.
The one
First
that was,
it was
the Allstate guy, I guess.
Keith David, yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah,
And then
those
it
guys
was
are pretty
like
good.
there was that Weasley guy that became the president at one point, who was like his vice president. And that was that one where he was trying to escape Jack Bauer, and Jack Bauer came back for revenge.
Oh yeah,
And then Jack Bauer had like that fucking Army of Two face mask, and like he just like shoots a hole in the bulletproof glass with this shotgun, and then like shoves a smoke grenade in. And
that was a pretty great
And
moment.
I was like, yeah, Jack Bauer.
Independence Day president. He's pretty amazing.
What's his face? Fucking who is that?
I see the face
Bill
in my head.
Pullman.
Bill Pullman.
Bill
yeah.
Pullman. Yeah, today's
He's
our
got his whole
Independence Day.
speech,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's in the second one, and
Yep.
he's not very good in that one.
Yeah, I didn't watch the second one because
No one should have watched the second one.
I didn't think the first one was as good as I think people have made it out to be in their brains. But
No. Even though, I'm trying to think of other fictional presidents that I actually would have known the name of.
let's see. I don't. First Lady. This is just a list of movies. Salt. I remember that movie.
The president from Mars Attacks.
Was
Jack-
that just
Jack
Jack Nicholson,
Nicholson, yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's it. That was an interesting one.
He was a good president.
kind of.
I like that.
I know this is a kids movie, but when Stephen Colbert plays the president in Monsters vs. Aliens,
okay.
he is hysterical in that film. There's a point where in the war room he has two giant fuck off buttons, like they're literally like this big kind of thing, and one of them is a coffee button, and the other one is launch all the nuclear missiles, and they're directly next to each other. It's like,
I got a deep cut. Good fiction president. Fucking Spaceballs. What's his name? Oh God.
I almost said Mel Blanc.
Mel.
We're really out of it today for some reason, guys. You
This
guys
is the
are
middle of the
yelling
afternoon.
at.
It's
You
the
guys
middle
are
of the
yelling at us
afternoon.
probably.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks plays
Mel
the president.
Brooks. It's kind of
1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah. It's kind of code an idiot would have on his luggage.
That's my password.
Yeah. All right. So there's some presidents for you, Marcus. I hope you.
I'm sorry that we didn't know most of their names.
I'm trying to think of video game. I think we hit the big video game presidents. I don't know what other video game.
Most of them are just like
Princess Peach. She's kind of president.
she's kind of
the
presidency,
Mushroom Kingdom.
and
She's kind of a regent, though.
and the Pauline became the mayor.
That's
of
true.
New Donk City.
New Donk City. Yeah. Anyway.
There's also the guys who saved that president when they were bad enough dudes. But I guess they saved Ronnie. President Ronnie. I think that was his name.
I think that was George Bush Sr.
Was it George Bush Sr. that they're
Pretty
saving?
sure.
Okay.
If you're bad enough, dude, to rescue the president from those ninjas.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, in a related question, Kevin writes in and says, what do y'all think of the new Dead Cells DLC? I'm really liking the rogue Metroidvania vibes it's created. Ray John, and that's from Kevin. Have you ever played Dead Cells, Michael?
I can't say I have, to be honest.
I like the DLC. I'm still like Dead Cells is one of those games where there's a lot of roguelike games where they're just like really difficult.
Yeah.
And the thing with Dead Cells is that like when you beat Dead Cells, you don't beat Dead Cells. You get one boss cell. In fact, I saw a great Twitter thread that was like they were like, I just beat Dead Cells. And then somebody said, how many BC? And they were like, what's BC? And then the person was just like, oh, you sweet summer child. And that person was like, oh, because like the first time you have to beat the game twice in order to get the first boss cell.
Okay.
And when you get the first boss cell, you can put the game in a New Game Plus. Everything gets harder. You get fewer healing items. And then when you beat the game on New Game Plus, you get to put the game on New Game Plus Plus, and everything gets even harder than that.
Oh, Jesus.
And it goes all the way up to New Game Plus 5. And New Game Plus 5 is the actual end of the game.
That's crazy as fuck.
Yeah. So I'm on New Game Plus 1 because I'm like kind of the thing is that what I'm doing is just I played the original game for a long time and I got used to playing it on regular difficulty level until I could just jam through it. Like I was getting hit by anything. Now I'm on New Game Plus and I'm trying to figure out again how to just jam through because it also adds new enemies.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it adds these enemies and they're invisible and they poison you and they're everywhere.
Oh,
and I'm
geez.
like, ah. On New Game Plus 5, you don't ever get any of your health items back. You can
God.
buy them back for like a ridiculously expensive amount of money, but you can't get them back. Like at the end of the first game, whenever you beat a level, you get to refill all of your like Estus flasks.
Yeah.
But on New Game Plus 5, it's like not only does this happen, but you also, every hit from an enemy builds up this thing called malaise that just like weakens you and weakens you and weakens you. And the
God.
only way to get rid of it is to drink health items. So any hit by any enemy will make you weaker. And I'm like, that's way in the distance.
Yeah, fuck.
So
Good for you guys for doing that sort of thing.
yeah. It's really the best of those because the action is just really tight. And the way that the levels are set up, like they've really done a lot of work to make, because there's like 3 different pathways through levels of the game. There's like a regular one, there's like a sewers one, and there's like the new one where you go through all these weird swamps. And all the levels feel different. Like that's the difference between it and Rogue Legacy, where Rogue Legacy, like the different areas felt a little bit different, but they weren't like dramatically different. Whereas these are different enemies, different tile set, different construction of the level. And so it's really amazing. Like I highly recommend anybody go play Dead Cells if you haven't played it before.
Oh, okay.
John and I played it on Super Awesome Video Game Show when it was in early access. It has come a long way since then.
Nice.
And it's kind of amazing. So let's see. Whiskey Wolf writes in and says, "Hey, Jeff and Michael, Whiskey Wolf here. Long time no write. I wanted to get your thoughts on what could happen to the console launches of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X if the coronavirus worsens in China and results in major disruptions of the supply/manufacturing chain. I believe that China manufactures many of the electronic components of the current consoles, and if China's economy slows dramatically for a long time, it could be hard for Sony and Microsoft to meet the demand at launch. What are your thoughts? Could launches be delayed? Would a black market develop where the consoles are sold at massive markups? All the best, Whiskey Wolf." I think that the thing to maybe compare this to wasn't there like, was it the Wii or like the PS3? One of the consoles had a thing where they couldn't manufacture them fast enough. So for like a year, they were.
It was the Wii, I think.
Was it the Wii where
The
they
Wii was
get
really
like 3
bad
or
about
4 of
that,
them in,
because
and then
people were fighting each other to the death over them, kind of thing.
yeah. We've seen stuff like that before. I mean, what'll happen? I don't think it'll be quite as bad these days because here's the dirty little secret, right? Is that this I feel is the dirty little secret for everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of whatever PS5 exclusive launch titles there are, the rest doesn't matter because the Xbox One X, we already know, Microsoft has said that for at least a year, the Xbox One X will play every game that the Series X will play.
Yeah.
Even the Xbox One will play it. The One S will play it. Like it'll be fully compatible. It'll just look better on the Series X version and load faster and et cetera, than it will on the Xbox One X version. But you'll still be able to play those games. So like major tier games are still going to be coming out. That's the other thing is the first year of every console life cycle, there's a lot of straddling between like this game works on the play. There's a PS4 version, there's a PS5 version, there's an Xbox One X version, there's an Xbox Series X version. So I feel like there might be some games on like the new PlayStation because I'm going to buy a new PlayStation first because I have an Xbox One X and I can play whatever comes out on the Xbox. So I'm going to go with the PS5 first because I can't afford to buy. I can't afford to buy one console, let alone 2 at the same time.
No,
they
of
launch.
course. It took me a long time to get all 3, and the first one I got from selling something, and the second one I got from a tax refund, and the third one I bought from you for like $100.
Oh yeah,
because I wasn't exactly going to go out and pay full price for an Xbox One, kind of thing, and it might be the same thing this time around.
Did I give you the Kinect for my Xbox One?
You did, because it doesn't work on the new ones, and it already doesn't feel like it works all that well even now. So
you have that thing plugged in?
I do.
Is that motherfucker watching you?
I tried using it for Cortana, and now the system's like, yeah, we're just not going to use Cortana now. I was like, well, what the fuck is the point of this goddamn thing?
I thought, wasn't there a thing on the Xbox One where you could use the Kinect to like order a pizza? You could be like, Kinect, order me Domino's, and then like Domino's will just show up at your house.
Yeah, I was supposed to have like a connection to a bunch of different apps, and no one used them for any of them because why would you?
I figure of all the apps in the world, Michael's ability to just say, pizza! Pizza time!
It was tempting. It was very tempting, but I knew it would go wrong very quickly if I had it connected like that.
If you had instant access to Domino's whenever.
Exactly. If I just went, I feel like a pizza right now, and the system's like, making it up now. Last order from the last time you did it. Fuck.
Yep. But I think that we'll probably see some disruption. I mean, honestly, we haven't talked about coronavirus, and I'm not like a fucking body scientist or anything. what do they call us, doctors?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, but it seems to me that we're probably going to go through. I don't think from what I see that containment is going to be possible in this thing because people are just spreading it while asymptomatic, right?
Yeah.
So like, I have a feeling it's just going to keep popping up in places, and then the more people that get it, I don't know, maybe it'll be contained and it'll be fine. But like, it seems like because you can walk around spreading it without having any symptoms, and also because people are like, oh, I've got a cold, but I can't stop doing these databases for my job. My boss will have my ass.
I gotta come in.
I'm going to take a lot of Dayquil and drink some speed and fucking shoot meth into my eyeball and come to work,
Put a bunch of Vicks vapor all over me.
Yep.
It'll be fine.
Yep. And then they get it spread it around. Or, I don't know what, there's like some guy at some processing center that's getting paid minimum wage who literally can't afford not to go to work, and he comes into work and coughs on a bunch of tomatoes, and then they go to the store and everybody buys the tomatoes at the store and everybody gets coronavirus.
I'm just saying the division is happening.
I don't know. Well, except for the fact that it's got a 98% like recovery rate,
So
right?
far, yeah.
So far, and that the people that are most susceptible are the people that are susceptible to a lot of illnesses, which are the elderly, and I don't think children are very.
It's mostly the elderly. Right
mostly
now.
the elderly, and that sucks. Don't get me wrong. And like 98%, that 2% is way higher than like flu deaths every year, because people die every year of the flu outbreaks.
Yeah, flus are actually pretty insane, guys. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, but I think that one of two things is going to happen. Either okay, let's put it this way. One of three things are going to happen. I think that either we're going to get it contained and under control, which I don't think is going to happen, but we're going to get it contained and under control and there'll be no problem.
Yeah.
Two, we're just going to keep freaking out all of 2020 about it. We're going to freak out all year about coronavirus, and it's never going to stop. Everybody's going to be insane. That's the one I'm voting for, is everybody's going to be insane and like bottles of water and shit like it's going to be Fallout 76 any day now. Like the nukes are going to drop.
Yeah.
Or the third thing is everybody just gets it and it's just a thing now, right? Where you get it, there's a test, you go to the doctor, they're like, yep, you got coronavirus, stay home for 4 days. I'm going to give you a bunch of B12 pills. Call me if things get worse. The end, like basically a slightly more deadly version of the flu.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also not the first time in human history that we've had like an outbreak of stuff.
Oh, no,
like
yeah.
This. So, I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm not trying to say that like you shouldn't be at all worried. But like we said in the beginning,
What we're saying is the PS5 is going to be fine.
wash your fucking hands. I don't think it will actually. I think there's going to be supply shortages.
No, it's gonna happen. It's gonna.
I think it's going to sell out pretty quickly.
I have a feeling it's going to be what happened to the Wii. Which is that it's just going to be a shortage for a bit.
For 6 to 8 months, it's like
it's
every
going to
time
be like that.
People goes on sale.
They're going to wait. People are going to wait in lines, have guards, that kind of thing, like they did back then.
Yep.
And then it'll just correct itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the Switch had a shortage for a bit at one point.
Yep.
But
well, yeah. I was
because they were fighting over like the chips or something with Apple.
Mm-hmm.
And that was causing a small shortage. It only lasted like a month, I think, a month or two.
Yeah.
But once they were back, they were back.
I agree. Let's see. We got another one here from Garrett. Garrett says, "Hello, Jeff and Michael. With your recent dojo for One Punch Man, I began to wonder what was a game that you were looking forward to the most, that disappointed you the most. Also, I think Michael mentioned wanting to check out Demon Slayer. Jeff, you need to watch that shit. Knowing your taste, I think you'd really like it. It's a pretty dark anime, but I think you'll both dig it. Anyway, long live Don Cleese, yada, 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 keep on raging." That's from Garrett. I don't see that name. I don't know, man. Is Demon Slayer, is that medieval? Because
it's this sort of like Japanese thing,
Okay.
apparently. Japanese medieval. They're all samurais and shit.
Maybe.
But I hear it's pretty funny too. There's a crazy boar guy a guy with a crazy guy with a boar head on his head.
I stopped watching that other one that I was watching. It was okay, but then I just kind of like wandered off and started watching Doctor Who instead.
ReZero or whatever.
Yeah. Doctor Who had a really weird ending. Like they did some serious retconning at the end of this season of Doctor Who.
That's weird.
In a way where it was like, oh shit, like okay.
It's like good or bad.
Hard to tell. I mean, it depends on where they go from here.
Oh, okay.
In the third or fourth episode, the one that kind of like got me interested in this season of Doctor Who, they brought back an old character very briefly from the Russell T Davies era, and I was like, "Hey, it's that guy!" And then he just never shows up again for the entire rest of the season. I was like, "Oh no,
Well, that's unfortunate.
that guy's not there anymore." Anyway, let's see. this is pretty common. Games that you were like, yeah, and then it came out and you were like, no.
One of the most recent ones of memory happened, or I was reminded of its existence because of the Xbox One, or the Xbox giving it away for free, I think, this month, which is Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2.
Oh.
That game, oh my god, that fucking
you know
game.
what? You know what? I actually want you to tell me, like, because I didn't really like Lords of Shadow 1, and I played Lords of Shadow 2 for the dojo, and it was like, all right, whatever. But then everybody hates it. Why is Lords of Shadow 2 so bad?
Okay, so Lords of Shadow 1 is this great little, like, Devil May Cry-ish type game.
Sure.
Lords of Shadow 2 starts off like that, but then it decides to go, hey, you want to know what you like about Castlevania? Stealth sequences. It's like, oh god, no. So there's a bunch of stealth sequences that make no fucking sense, because you're just like, I'm fucking Dracula. I shouldn't have to do stealth sequences kind of thing. Like, I should just be able to walk in here and murder everybody. It's like, oh, you're not at full power, so you got to be stealthy. And I'm like, but I hate, and it slows down the game to like a complete halt.
Okay.
Because you'll go through this whole sequence where you murder a bunch of people. It's like, that's great, but now you got to get past this camera. It's like, I'm fucking Dracula.
They can't see Dracula on camera.
And so it's like, this doesn't make any sense. And the story makes even less sense, because the first one is this normal medieval-ish kind of story about like good versus evil kind of thing.
Yeah.
This one's just like, well, Dracula, Satan's back, I guess. He's angry at Dracula, I guess. You got to go into these weird, I guess I don't even know what to call it. Is it a dream world? I don't really know, to get his powers back. The plot makes even less sense. Like, the further you go into it, the less the story makes sense. And by the time you're done, you fight Satan, who is like possessing Alucard's body, and you defeat Satan. And then after that's done, Alucard and Dracula just sort of look at each other and they walk away, and the game just ends. There's no real ending to it because of it.
All right.
And there was all the marketing was like this huge epic sequence that's kind of in the beginning of the game. And they were so like, this is the end of our series. It's going to be this huge climactic finish, and it just ends on a whimper of nothing. Like, I always make this joke, is that game would have made a better ending if it went full Powerpuff Girls, and just all of a sudden it went, and yes, the day was saved thanks to Dracula kind of thing.
Okay,
because it would have made more of an ending than what you actually get. And then they came out with a DLC that's a prequel to it, so it didn't even give it more of an ending anyways. By the time it was done, it was just like, it wasted all of my time, because it was like, it wasted the time of me playing the first one, the Mirror of Fate, because none of it comes to anything.
Okay.
At the end of the day, and it just felt bad at the end of it. Like, it still played solidly, but yeah, it was just bad.
I've had a lot of answers to this question over the years, but I'm going to try not to do any of those. Like, I was talking about Jurassic Park Trespasser and
okay.
Advent Rising.
Yeah,
those
there's
were both
a lot
ones
of those,
that I really
yeah.
like. But I'm actually just looking at my game shelf. Rage 2.
Oh.
I had a lot of hope for Rage 2 because Doom and Wolfenstein worked so well. And then Rage 2 came out and it was like, Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah.
I'm a dude, I'm a pirate guy. Like, I love pirates and shit, right? Like, I've seen every Pirates of the Caribbean movie, even the latest one, where everybody's phoning it the fuck in super hard. But like, that game I was super excited for, and then I went to play it and it was like, well, what do you do? And it's like, well, you do quests. And I'm like, why? For money. And it's like, what do you get for the money? Cosmetic items. I'm like, well, do you level up? No. Is there like a boss? Like, no. You get cosmetic items. That's what you get. Then
the end.
Make your own fun. And I'm like, no, you make the fun. I'm the guy playing. You were the one who was responsible for entertaining me.
Yeah, they were real bad about that. Far Cry 5 was one of those ones that I remember being real bummed out by.
I don't think
by the time I was done.
I was definitely bummed out by it, but it was one of those things where it was just like, this is okay, but Far Cry 4 was so much better.
I think that's part of it. Like, no, I know Assassin's Creed 3 was the mother of all that for me for a while.
Darksiders 3 was one that I just couldn't. I mean, I played it all the way to the end, and I was just like, I don't really like this very much.
Watch Dogs was like that for a lot of people. The very first Watch Dogs.
Oh, there we go. Left Alive.
Oh, jeez.
I love Front Mission. I hate Left Alive so much. This fucking knockoff. There's another one, Mad Max.
I like that one, though.
I expected more from Mad Max.
Oh, Battlefront 2.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That was that, because they were like, it's going to have this great plot. No, it did not.
That was one of those ones where I was always like, I'll believe it when I see it.
I wanted to see where it turned out, but no, it turned out to be awful.
Yeah. What's her name? Aiden Verso.
Yeah.
Or whatever. They keep coming out. They're just like, she's an Imperial. Now you get to play as the bad guy. And I'm like, fucking 3 missions. She's going to be a rebel, man. She's not going to be a bad guy. You're not going to play a bad guy through the whole game. She's going to be like, oh, no, does it turn out that the Empire is evil? What have I done? And
she's in that,
sure enough.
She's in that new Ben Affleck film, actually.
Agents of Mayhem.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Agents of Mayhem was
a huge letdown.
Let's see. I think that's maybe enough for right now.
There's quite a few guys. Like, that's the thing, is there's a lot of times a game will come out and we'll be super excited, and then it's just let us down way more than we thought.
Well, it's funny because I try not to get really super hyped. Like, that's kind of, I think one of the, not to keep harping on this because I know that there's some people that get really mad whenever I talk about it, but like one of the reasons that I keep coming back to Final Fantasy VII is I feel like there were a lot of people when we were playing the Final Fantasy VII demo that were just like, look, we get it. You don't like it. All right, just shut up. And I'm like, I was talking with somebody in the Discord chat about Death Stranding the same way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I would shut up, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, well, are you super excited? And I'm like, not really. And they're like, well, why not? Why not? I'm super excited. Get excited. And I'm like, but I mean, I'm not. Like, I want a new Final Fantasy game. I want Final Fantasy 16, not 7. And they're going to do a bunch of 7s before they do 16. They're like, but you have to be, it's Final Fantasy 7. And I'm like, but I'm just not. And then people are like, stop shitting on my game. And I was like, all I said was that I'm not like super excited. It's the same thing that happened with Kingdom Hearts, where I'm like, I'm not telling you that Kingdom Hearts 3 is a bad game. I'm just saying I don't care about it. And so every time somebody comes up and pushes the game box up against my face and says, kiss it, I'm like, no, I don't want to.
You guys can be excited about stuff. That's the thing is, like, no one's stopping you from being excited about something.
And I went back and I watched
We're not the fun police.
half of the part 1 of Final Fantasy VII that we did. And I was like, I'm not even really ragging on this game very much. Like, I'm not just like, bleh. Like, compared to a lot of other YouTubers, I'm not, it's just when it comes up. And so for my money, I feel like, but it's interesting because when I was talking to that guy about in the Discord about Death Stranding, I felt like all I was seeing on the internet were people like, Death Stranding, more like walking simulator. What is this boring bullshit? First, we've got up his own ass Kojima, and then what's the gameplay? You carry boxes for 12 hours? What? People are paying money for this? And I was like, that was what I felt I was seeing.
Yeah, that was
but then
for a bit, yeah.
What he was seeing was people that were just like, this is the greatest game I've ever played in my entire life.
Okay.
I can't even understand. This is art. This isn't even a game. This is life-changing. My life has been changed by this game. And I'm like, I guess I can understand if you feel like that's what you're seeing. If all you feel like what you're seeing, if all of the stuff that you agree with kind of just is water off a duck's back, and then all the stuff that disagrees with you is like a big glaring red sign that's just like, fuck you, and you're like, no, fuck you.
It's a lot of that. I don't know. People get very defensive if you're just like, well, I just think it's okay.
Yeah.
And the second you say okay, it's like if you said that it's hot garbage in a dumpster on fire thrown down a dump covered in fire.
I've literally had conversations where people were trying to like talk me into liking Final Fantasy VII Remake. And it's like, I just have to be upfront of saying, I like Final Fantasy. Like, I like the Final Fantasy franchise. But like, again, there hasn't been like a new Final Fantasy since 13, in my opinion, because 14's an MMO and 15 is 13 Versus.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was a spinoff from 13. And I didn't like it. And then we did Kingdom Hearts 3, and now we're doing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I've been waiting since Final Fantasy 13 for a new game, and the idea that it's like, well, we were going to make a new game, but then we decided to just remake all of our old games. And like, no, but I like the new ones. Come on.
I would like to see what you guys do with something else. Yeah, don't worry about that, though.
That's all I'm coming from. Like, I'm not, I don't like, when I played it, I'm like, it looks good. It sounds good. It's, I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Like,
I'm very happy that people are excited for it, and games can be great for everybody. Just, calm down, guys.
On the other hand, somebody last week, we put out the One Punch Man thing, and there was a comment on the YouTube channel that was like, this isn't that bad. And I was like, and I thought about it because I played a bunch more One Punch Man,
and
it kind of sucked. But I think that the reason that it caught me off guard is because the last few of these games that we played were, and I know this isn't the same thing, but Kakarot was obviously like a very well-made game for people that were fans of that franchise.
Yeah.
The My Hero Academia Arena Fighter was like a very good version of My Hero Academia for My Hero Academia fans. The Kill la Kill one was a very good thing for fans of Kill la Kill. Even Jump Force, in some ways, like if you're into that whole Jump universe, it must be kind of fun to see all your favorite characters interacting.
Well, I was thinking about it recently, and why I had so much trouble with the One Punch Man game is I realized what it was is because in Jump Force, Xenoverse, and all those kinds of games like that, usually the guy that you start talking to from the get go is is a character from the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like Trunks tends to be the guy who's like, okay, here's what Xenoverse. This is what Xenoverse is. This is what this world is. Like, I'm going to be your guide for a bit. Our guide was Mr. Lecture Man.
Oh yes,
Which is clearly a made up fucking character.
Yeah.
So we had no like sense of fandom pushing us forward.
right.
And I
It
realized
took a long
that
time of trash fights to even get to the point where Saitama shows up for that fight with Virus Man. Like it
Exactly.
took like an hour or two to
like
get that far.
I realized that that's what it was. Is that like every game like that was willing to be like, hey, there's the guy you recognize. There's the guy you recognize, like
Right.
over and over again. Whereas One Punch Man was like, here's a generic vaccine man like 5 times.
Here's like we hit random on the character generator.
Exactly.
Like every one of those enemies looked like they hit randomized on the character generator.
So there wasn't like the fandom. The idea of the fandom wasn't pushing me forward.
Yeah.
It was just more of just here's a random thing. Here's a random thing. Here's a random thing.
And then here's kind of like a
Here's Tank Top Tiger, I guess.
kind of bad arena fighter, like not the best.
And yeah, a lot of the stages weren't all that interesting. There were a lot of just empty lots kind of thing.
Even, when you did the special moves, I feel like in most of those other games, like there'll be like a camera shift. Like even in Jump Force,
Yeah.
right? When you used like, because I don't play Jump Force, but I like to watch Deku, is that like
Yeah.
when you would do one of those special moves and hit it, it would like really shift the camera to make it look really spectacular when you did it. And here it was just like, especially considering that you start with the consecutive normal punches walking forward.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, well, I mean, given the amount of flashy shit that's in One Punch Man, it just didn't seem like it was very well executed.
Yeah, it's just I felt like it wasn't as well loved as the other games were made, I think.
Yeah.
And I really felt it.
Me too. All right, let's do some Discord questions. So our first question this week comes in from I Hate Everyone, So Shut Up, who says, Dear Jeff and Michael, what is your favorite video game commercial? And then he says his is this Dragon Quest IX trailer retrospective nostalgia thing. I've never seen this one before. I'm sorry that I didn't watch it before we started recording. But do you have a favorite video game? I guess not like trailer, but like commercial?
I was a big fan of the a lot of the old Spyro ones,
Okay.
where it was this sheep that was he was protesting Spyro games because he was
think I
always
remember
getting
this.
he was always getting burned by Spyro, and he's like, he's a monster. He's like, you guys keep doing this to me. And I was a big fan of those, and I was a big fan of the Crash Bandicoot ones, where it's the dude dressed as Crash,
Yeah, just
going to Nintendo with a megaphone, yelling at him,
Yeah.
trying to like get a guy, like trying to get Mario to come out to fight him, which I thought was a lot of fun. Also, this was a super recent one. There's was the Capcom beat 'em up one where Captain Commando takes these kids into the future to show them like the Capcom beat 'em up collection, and then before it ends, they're like, "So we can go back home?" Nope. It's like, what do you mean no? It's like, I can't go back in time. You guys are stuck here forever. The commercial just ends like that.
I remember that there was one that was an old one. I don't remember which. It was for one of the Mario games. I don't remember which Mario game it was for. I don't even know if I can find it. I only found in this like collection of things. Maybe it's because it's going down to number 1, so maybe it's like the number one. But it was like a bunch of people like in a field, like chanting Mario, and then it like zooms out like all the way to space, and like they're making Mario's face.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was like I remember as a kid, I could not for the life of me figure out how they did that. like I was like, did they actually get those people to stand there? And I'm like, no, no, that wouldn't have worked.
Oh god, I just remembered my actual like all-time favorite one, which is the original Smash Brothers commercial, where it was like all the guys that one.
Where it's like they're playing so happy together.
Yeah, they're playing so happy together,
and then they just start beating the shit out of each other.
Fucking, it's so much fun because it was a great way of selling that game
with all the mascots.
Oh my god, it was so much fun.
Yeah. Is it number one? Why is it in the thumbnail if it wasn't the one? I don't feel like any of these commercials are the ones that I was looking for.
It might have been in there somewhere. But yeah, there's a lot of old ones that I just thought were a lot of fun like that. And there was my roommate was showing me a bunch of old Sonic the Hedgehog ones that I thought were a lot of fun. One of them was like a commercial for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Super Mario Bros. 3. That's what it was. It was Super Mario Bros. 3. Yeah, it's just all these people dressed in various like red, black, blue costumes, all just yelling Mario, and then it like zooms out, and then you see this giant Mario face like on the thing. It was Super Mario Bros. Commercial.
I remember seeing this because my brother had it on a tape that we had recorded somewhere.
It's fucking bizarre.
It was a lot of fun.
Though I really remember the one. There was that one. I don't know. See, this is Jeff is a super old man one. Okay, because I don't think you might not have been born, or you might have been like a baby when this came out. Have you seen the commercial where it's like it's like this guy just saying the name of Legend of Zelda enemies in these weird tones of voice and like running around.
Yeah.
And that one.
I did actually see that one.
I never forgot that one because it was just like, what am I looking at here?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird. That's the thing you guys don't understand. There was a lot of weird fucking commercials back in the day. And they didn't stop for a long time until fairly recently, I think. I think the last bit of weird ones were the fuck was it? The PlayStation ones. PlayStation 3 commercials.
Oh yeah.
Fucking insane ass commercials.
Yep. Those were so good with the baby head.
Yeah, those things were horrifying.
Yep. This is the original one for Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
It's like two kids sitting on the couch playing Zelda. This is the one that I'm thinking of, where it's this guy like running around a warehouse just like saying the name of different Zelda things and like yelling for Zelda and talking about like Octoroks and shit. Like, it's a strange commercial.
I saw this one purely because of YouTube. Like, somebody showed this to me years ago.
I saw this shit on TV on Saturday morning. So like,
yeah, I definitely wasn't around for this, but yeah, I remember seeing this and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
There was a lot of weird ones.
Commercials, man. They didn't know how to sell these things.
No,
at this point.
Man, those PlayStation commercials though.
Yeah,
PlayStation had like 3 years there where they had no fucking idea how to market their things. I still to this day, you remember the billboard in the Netherlands with the white woman and the black
PSP.
woman with the PSP white? Like,
oh, that was so bad.
It was like, why? How does nobody
and playing Nut? That was the other weird PSP commercial.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a nut you can play outside. It's like, what?
Oh yeah, yeah.
None of this makes any sense.
Yeah, I gotta tell you though, I'm super glad that GameStop is going out of business because I hate that fucking rabbit, that little rabbit commercials that they have on YouTube, where I'm just like, fuck you, fuck you, GameStop.
Yeah,
trading your games for corn to get more games. And I'm just like, yeah, go to hell.
Yeah, there's a lot of great commercials out there, guys, that you should look up that are a lot of fun.
Those baby head commercials. I'm just like, who?
Yeah.
Egg Spinner writes in, says, greetings, Rage Select podcast people. With the recent story that EA killed yet another Star Wars game, if you could rip the Star Wars IP away from them and give it to any developer, who would you pick? I would like to see what Guerrilla Games could do after they finish that Horizon sequel, of course. Thanks for considering my question. That's from Egg Spinner.
I'd give it to Insomniac.
Yeah.
I think Insomniac has a great track record for pure insanity, and they could do something really fun with it.
I think I'm gotten too overloaded between Sucker Punch and Guerrilla Games. Insomniac is...
They're the guys who made the Jak and Daxter... Not the Jak and Daxter. They made Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank. Okay.
As well as the original guys who made Spyro. That made the new Spider-Man.
Okay.
Those guys.
Oh, yeah. They made Spider-Man. I was just trying to think what the last thing they made was.
And Sunset Overdrive.
I would give it to... I I would give it to Suda51 and Swery as long as they agree to
geez.
work together and consult with like Hideo Kojima and Miyazaki from Software. But they're not involved. They're just like they're going to bounce ideas off of them. But I want Suda51 and Swery to
If
make
we're
a
going
Star
that
Wars
way,
game.
then I would also want Platinum and Grasshopper Studios to make a game off of that.
I don't know. I mean, like the thing is that at this point, it's like I wouldn't care as long as it's a company that knows how to make a good game.
As long as they can make a good single player game is the thing.
It'd be easier to list the companies that I wouldn't want to see. Like, don't give it to Activision. Don't give it to Square. Don't give it to,
I wish I could take fucking Avengers away from Square. Jesus.
Yeah.
I keep seeing commercials for it, and it's always the exact same goddamn footage they've shown.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time. It's
Well,
like, show me something new, guys.
They had like a trailer 2 weeks ago. I've decided, I know that I keep moving the bar for Avengers, but I've decided that like I will get excited about Avengers when you show me like 3 hours into the game what a mission looks like.
Exactly.
Like from the beginning to the middle to the end, I want that 1 hour gameplay demo of like, this is about 3 hours in after you've got your base and you've got like 4 or 5 different heroes. Like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. And then we're going to call in our friends and be like, okay, show it to me.
Yeah.
And then I will evaluate what I see. Because right now it's always just been polished, and then it's that tutorial level, and it's like, well, this is a tutorial.
It's all the tutorial.
That I need to see not tutorial.
There's
So,
like maybe 3 seconds of footage that are maybe outside of the tutorial.
Yeah.
And it's usually involving Miss Marvel, and that's it.
yes. I don't know. Not Konami.
Oh no, not Konami. Also, honestly, I wouldn't give it to Naughty Dog, mostly because I feel like Naughty Dog would go too cinematic with it, and I want something that has more actual like
Mechanics.
mechanic flavor. I guess is a good way of putting it.
Platinum would actually probably be a good choice because they've shown that they can do fast action, but they can also do like accessible action.
Yeah.
Right. So. Somebody that makes something because like I think that the cliche answer people would want from me is like From Software. I'm like, I do not want From
No.
Software to make a fucking Star Wars game. I already saw kind of what that what that looked like.
Unless it's just Metal Wolf Chaos, I'd be cool with that.
at ATST Wolf Chaos.
I'd play the shit out of that. I'd play that so fast.
It's just Darth Vader and an ATST. Palpatine is taking over the Galactic Senate and just running around shooting missiles and stuff.
I'd play the shit out of that, guys.
Yeah.
It'd be so much fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I talked a few podcasts back about how I'd like to see, like I wish that they would make an RPG. I wish they'd make another RPG in the Star Wars universe. Like I really wish that people would look at what the Outer Worlds did and be like that, right? Like we can have a game. It can be a medium-sized game. Your choices matter. Let you do different things, et cetera, et cetera. Because you know what? I really liked Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh no, everybody did.
I just wish that it was a single-player game and not an online game. Like
Yeah.
I actually liked the writing for the individual stories. I just wish that I'd been able to play it offline and that it'd been a little bit more like tuned to
Yeah.
be a single-player game and not a multiplayer game. So
While we're remaking things, we need to remake Masters of Terrakasi. I'm just saying.
yeah, Arc System Works.
Yeah, get a whole Arc System Works to make a new Star Wars fighting game,
Arc System Works apparently will just do anything,
and I love them for it.
like
'Cause
anything.
they're really good at it for the most part,
Yeah,
except for like 2 or 3 things we played that they did.
yeah. They put out so much. They also put out like I feel like every 6 months they put out some like 8-year-old fighting game that was on the Dreamcast on Steam, and I'm just like, wait, what is it? Okay, never mind. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I
Get
don't
on
know.
it, guys.
Give it to.
Give it to the Animal Crossing guys.
CD Project Red. I think.
Yeah, that would be pretty good actually.
because like The Witcher would be kind of an interesting. Like if you thought about like you were a Jedi. Like the way that Geralt is a Witcher, you've got a big open world where you can wander around, you can talk to people, there'll be like battles in between, but then there'll be like this very story centric thing of these little side quests.
Well, you can make like a bounty hunter game that way. 'Cause
Sure.
that's basically what The Witcher is doing. He's doing bounty hunter work essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you could do that. Maybe even at this point. I mean, like I know this is maybe sounding a little weird coming from me, but maybe like Obsidian.
I could see that.
They've been doing pretty good, or like Larian, who did Divinity, and they're doing the Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Like they might have a good job
They
doing
have
something
a
like
pretty
that.
good idea of something to do with it.
I guess I'm just like I like my RPGs now. You know, there's a lot of like action games out there, and I like a good RPG. So maybe I'm like, I want another Star Wars RPG. What was the last one? SWTOR? Was it
It had to have been. I can't think of anything since then. That was an RPG.
Battlefront 2, and Thing, and Star Wars Connect? I think it was probably Sweater.
Yeah, there's nothing else that I could think of.
Anyway. Let's see. IHH Hood says, greetings, Rage Lords. I've recently been branching out on podcasts and have really been enjoying The Dollop, which is comedy history podcast. My question is, what podcasts are you currently listening to, and what do you recommend? Thanks, and Rage On. And that's from Ian.
I brought up Lore a good chunk of times. Lore is really good.
Yeah.
I started listening to them when they were on like episode 15 or something.
Okay.
And they're a lot of their stuff's really good. The only thing I will say about them though is that as soon as you know the story is done, switch to the next episode, because then you're gonna get interrupted by his ad. That kind of takes the fun out of it, to be honest.
Okay.
But I really like Lore a lot. The Giant Bombcast, I'm a big fan of theirs as well.
Stop listening to them.
They're very long though, is the thing about those. They're like 3 hours long. So I used to listen to them when I worked
3 hours.
I used to work at them like worked retail.
We're going to extend the Rage Select podcast by another hour. I thought we had the longest podcast out there.
Yeah, theirs can go on for a while, but they also record in this giant room kind of thing that they put on YouTube as well. But I used to listen to those when I did retail for a long time. Also, Hollywood Babylon that Kevin Smith does with Ralph Garman. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
I actually watched them live too, actually, a few years back, and that was a lot of fun.
I saw the Dollop live here in Austin.
Oh, really?
They were great. I was laughing so hard that at one point one of the hosts was just like, all right, guys, settle down. That was the episode that it talked about. I don't know if I've ever told this to you before, but it was like in the 1910s or something where they decided to have an around-the-world auto race. And this was like before there was a highway system, and this is like when the cars were all like open and shit.
Yeah.
And so their idea was that they would start in New York. No, it was a New York to Paris race. And so they were going to start in New York. They're going to drive all the way across the United States, and then they were going to get to the Alaska in the wintertime and drive over the Bering Strait when it froze, and then go through Russia, and then like down, and then all the way to Paris. It did not go as planned.
As of course it did.
Yeah, it's a strange story of weird men doing weird shit. Like, I mean, they were in the wintertime with like these open cars just driving. Like, I think that when they were going through like the New York countryside, they would be driving through people's crops. And then, like, the farmers would come out and shoot at them and shit. And they were going like 2 miles a day type of thing because they were in the middle of the winter in a place with no roads. Like, they got to Russia in, like, the spring, and it became a swamp. Several of the guys got detained because they kept trying to drive on the railroad tracks. It was the only place you could drive.
Oh, okay.
And then the Russians would be like, no. Anyway, it's
amazing.
The Dollop is great. I'm going to say there's a bunch of politics podcasts I listen to, but I won't talk about any of those. I obviously am a big fan of Watch Out for Fireballs. I listen to their podcast quite a bit. Have you ever listened to Watch Out for Fireballs?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever listened to
like
it.
that. Reply All is a really good like tech show where they kind of do like internet stuff. Like sometimes it's a segment they call Yes, Yes, No, where like their old producer comes in and basically asks these two guys to explain a tweet to him that they don't he doesn't understand. They do a thing called Super Tech Support where somebody will call in and ask them about a thing, and it'll be like and then it'll lead a lot of times down a rabbit hole. Like there was a day where there was one show that was a 2-parter where, those when people cold call you and try to get you to buy like a warranty for your computer, or they're like, you have a virus. I'm from Microsoft. I'm going to need your credit card number so we can get the virus off your thing. And this guy was like, well, I mean, obviously like, no. But then he just kept talking to them, and it got to the point where eventually he tracked the people down that were doing this and like flew to India and went to like this sketchy part of town to this call center to try to like confront these people about like, why are you doing this? You're bad. And it was this whole thing. But
that's amazing. I think the last one I'll bring up, because I realized since I switched phones, I don't have a lot of the old ones I used to listen to.
Yeah.
Junk Food Cinema is still great. I love listening to Brian just talk about the insanity of history of certain movies.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, the stuff that he finds out sometimes.
Hardcore history is good. I like hardcore history quite a bit. I'm trying to think. If you do like spooky stuff, I think it goes off the rails eventually. But like the first 2 seasons of Welcome to Night Vale is really good. Eventually, it kind of starts to wear out, or at least it did for me.
Yeah, I don't hear people talk about it as much as they used to. So I think it probably did for a lot of people.
Yeah. Along those same lines, there's actually a bunch of narrative podcasts that I really like. Homecoming, that was the Amazon show, was started as a podcast that was really good. David Schwimmer was the bad guy.
That's so weird.
So like the overzealous, the guy that was who's that guy? He was in Boardwalk Empire. Who was on the show? Did you watch the Amazon show?
I watched part of it, but I don't get very far.
That character was David Schwimmer in the podcast. There's one called Sandra that's got from Arrested Development, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Who works basically? It's like the idea behind that is that the Alexas, like, there's literally a person on the other side who's like looking up information
I've heard
and
about
talking
that.
into that one. That one's pretty good. There was another spinoff from Night Vale that was like the Alice Isn't Here Anymore. Or
yeah, I
something
remember
like that.
hearing about that one.
I listened to about 4 episodes of it, but it was still coming out when I was listening to it, so I never got a chance to go back.
I know there's a lot of I know Marvel did this Wolverine one not too long ago.
Yeah,
but they ended up adapting, I think, into a normal comic.
It was like The Long Night or something
like that. I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, Giant Bomb watched every single Dragon Ball Z Kai episode.
Oh God!
It's called All Systems Goku.
Yeah,
and it's just fun listening to like somebody who's never seen Dragon Ball Z talk about it.
Yeah,
because that's like in my standpoint, I thought it was interesting. And since they're really big wrestling fans, they use a lot of wrestling metaphors.
Okay,
that just end up working because of it. And I thought it was a lot of fun to listen to. Like even if you're not even a fan of Dragon Ball, just to see what they think, kind of thing.
I'm trying to think of any other ones that come out on a weekly basis that I listen to, or even like a bi-weekly basis. There's one called Reset that's kind of interesting. That's about technology. There's one called Dr. Death that nobody should ever listen to.
I've heard about that one.
The story of this guy that was like a fucking spine surgeon in Dallas, who like didn't know what he was doing and crippled like 40 people before they stopped him.
Yeah,
and he would he killed, I think, 2 or 3 people, but he would basically just like open up somebody's spine and just start fucking digging around. And he'd like leave tools and gauze and shit inside of their spine, and then they would wake up and like their left side didn't work anymore. It's goddamn horrifying.
Yeah.
It'll make you never want to go to the doctor again. Don't listen to it, or do if you're into that. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of podcasts like that actually that'll fuck you up. My roommate was listening to one called Suicide Buddies that was kind of like that.
Ugh.
It would because what it was is there was a bunch of guys talking about like just weird suicides kind of thing. Like, and they were never saying like suicide's great. They were always like, at the end of the podcast, so mentions like, suicide, is awful, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of podcasts that are very morbid in that kind of sense.
Well, I tried listening to. I know that like Matt is a really big fan of My Favorite Murder, but
stuff like that. Yeah.
And also Last Podcast on the Left, and I listened to Last Podcast on the Left for a little while, and then I had to stop because I was like, I am more affected. Like, you guys are making a lot of jokes about the people that got murdered here, and like, I'm not a prude or anything, but like, that just is distasteful to me. And like, they're funny jokes, don't get me wrong. This is one a little bit over the line that I can't.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, it's either, that's the hard thing about a podcast like that in general.
Yeah,
is because if you don't really joke about some of it, sometimes you're just not going to get through it no matter what. And that's one of those things where it's like, you have to figure out where the line for you is, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like jumping off of something like that, that's fair. Like the reason I like lore so much, because it is a lot of that dark stuff, but a lot of it's from like way back when in the 1900s,
right.
Like earliest is like 1930s kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he never goes that much farther in the modern stuff because of it. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, one more question here. This one comes in from another Mike. Mike says, "Good morning, Rage Knots. Simple question here about the start of the day meal. What's your favorite breakfast foods, and what do you most commonly have when you eat in the morning? I just rolled out of bed and had a big bowl of cereal and a mug of OJ. Have a great rest of the day." And that's from Mike. So, all right, there's 2 questions here. What are your favorite? No, let's go to that one last. We'll end on the good one. What do you normally eat in the morning for breakfast?
When I actually eat breakfast, because it's much rarer than it used to be.
Yeah.
I used to eat a lot of breakfast tacos.
Okay.
Like bean tacos, potato and egg, that kind of thing.
Bean, potato, and egg.
I was also a big fan of. I'm a big fan of cereal.
Okay.
because it's quick.
What's your cereal? What's your cereal of choice?
Rice
Honey-
Krispies, actually.
Honey Nut Cheerios? Rice Krispies.
I'm a big fan of Rice Krispies.
I would
to
have
be
thought it would be
honest.
something sweeter. Do you put sugar on?
I do not.
Okay.
I just eat Rice Krispies plain, as well as Cheerios. I'm a big fan of Cheerios.
Regular Cheerios?
Yeah.
Not even
Also-
Honey Nut?
No,
Apple?
I think it's too much sweetness. I was a big fan of Apple Jacks for a bit.
Yeah.
Same with Pops.
Man, breakfast cereal, it's like that shit was made for children, and as soon as you stop being a child, you're just like, Jesus God almighty.
Yeah, Fruit
How
Loops.
much sugar is in here?
Fruit Loops, I think, are the sugariest thing that I can eat cereal-wise nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
I tried, and it's just too much for me.
You remember the cereals that have been discontinued?
Oh, my God.
You remember OJ's?
Yeah.
That was a bad idea.
There's a lot that I feel
Orange
like
flavored milk.
maybe there's a lot of weird shit that was going on.
I don't even know what's still around. Are clusters still around?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I know Cookie Crisps is still a thing, even though it's just literally a bowl of chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. I was telling you about
Um,
my friend who was diabetic before, who only ate nothing but pizza.
Uh-huh.
He also pizza, hot wings, or like an entire mixing bowl with Captain Crunch, with
Oh,
like
geez.
an entire box of Captain Crunch in one sitting, which is also just like you might as well just pour sugar directly into your mouth.
There's a
like,
guy at work. He because we have cereal that we can eat for free in these like small bowls.
Yeah.
He brought like one of those mixing bowls that's about like yay big.
No, dude.
And just fills it with like Fruit Loops and shit.
Ah, dude.
And I'm like, come on, dude, what the fuck?
Come on, you're ruining it for the rest of us. Now there's gonna be a sign up like only
It's
one
just-
small bowl per person.
It's insane. Like everyone's fine with it because not many people actually eat from that thing because they're trying to get a little more healthy somewhat. But he's just going fucking all in. But I'm also a big fan of waffles
Okay.
and pancakes and the occasional piece of bacon or ham.
Do you have a waffle iron?
I do not.
I have a little waffle iron. It
Oh, yeah, you
makes,
showed
like,
it to me,
Quarter
yeah.
size waffles. So
Yeah.
every so often I'll make batter, and then for like 4 days I'll just be like, I'm also gonna have 4 waffles with this meal. Bang, 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 bang.
I tried doing Eggos for a bit, but I keep running out of room in my freezer since it's me and my roommate.
Yeah.
He'll buy a bunch of different stuff too.
The Eggos suck.
Well, they're not the best, but they're still they
Toaster strudel.
they work in a pinch.
Yeah.
I used to eat Pop-Tarts for a bit, but I stopped doing that one day.
I don't eat breakfast. When I do eat breakfast, it's at night right before I go to bed when I'm
Okay.
drunk. Drunk Jeff knows how to make some breakfast tacos. I'll tell you what.
Do donuts count as breakfast?
Sure.
Yeah, that's the one of the things because nowadays I don't really eat breakfast as much.
Yeah.
But when I do, it's one of those things. But they're super, super rare. Like that's maybe a once a month kind of thing.
I had a job where they brought in kolaches every Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kolaches and Krispy Kreme donuts. They'd bring in like fucking $500 worth of kolaches and Krispy Kreme donuts for the whole place that I worked at. And I was always eat like 3 kolaches and then 2 donuts. And then I would just be like, ow, my stomach hurts. And they'd be like, every Friday, Jeff, every fucking Friday. I'm like, I know, but they're really good. I can't.
Yeah.
If I eat a kolache, my stomach hurts. But I eat them anyway because this is Texas and we got a lot of kolaches
There's a
around
lot
this
of them.
place.
Yeah.
For some reason, a hot dog. It's just a big pig in a blanket. It's just a gigantic breakfast pig in
It
a
really
blanket.
is. I have a guy I work with who hates when we call them kolaches
Why?
because he says that's not the actual term for that type of food.
Oh, fuck off.
He's one of those kinds of guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Is it a sandwich though, Michael?
I don't know. I forgot what he actually called them, like the actual name he gave for that, because he was like, "This is what an actual kolache is," and he showed me, and I was like, "Eh."
Yeah. All right. Fine. We're not in
Sure.
fucking Poland, dude.
Yeah.
Like.
He's the kind of guy who was he was a chef prior to what we do now,
Oh.
kind of thing. So
You tell him I hate him. I hate it when people get super pedantic about that.
he's really weird. He's a super nice guy.
Actually, champagne only comes from one part of France, so you can't just call any sparkling white wine champagne. Actually, if you make crepes with...
Did I tell you what he tried to do to us not
Fuck
that long ago?
off. No.
So,
but I'm sure it's going to make me even madder than I am right
I don't
now.
know. I don't know if it'll make you mad so much as like it's there's a top 5 thing. So if you make like the top 5 rankings or whatever, you get a lunch.
Okay.
He made a reservation at this like super health place that was like the only non-healthy thing they had was like this burger, but even then it came with like cucumber slices or something as a side,
Okay.
and like and one of like it had a pizza, but it was like butternut squash pizza.
Where is this?
It's someplace in the domain called
Mean Greens?
no, it's like True Food something like that.
Oh, okay.
And I was talking, he couldn't go. He made the reservation and he couldn't go. And so our other manager was put in charge of it, and he's like, "So I guess we're gonna go to this thing." And I outright said, "I am not fucking going to this thing."
Right.
And then he was like, "I don't want to do this either." So we all basically
Bailed?
mutinied.
Oh, it was like a burger joint?
And went to a Shake Shack
There you go.
instead, and it was just like we have no idea what his thought was on that, and we're like, we're not doing your stupid health shit.
Hell with
None of
that
us
guy.
is doing any of this.
Hell with that guy. So, are breakfast tacos thing your favorite? To just finish up here.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of barbacoa the most, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, I think that breakfast tacos are really good, and they're so good when you make them by yourself at home because you can then like make it. You can like if you want 6 eggs in your 3 breakfast tacos, you can put fucking 6 eggs in your 3 breakfast tacos.
Oh yeah, you can have so much inside of a tortilla, you just wrap another tortilla around it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You're the maker of this thing.
No, you know what? I'll take it back. My very favorite is a tie at Jim's.
Oh geez.
And one of them is the pork chop breakfast, which is 2 pork chops, scrambled eggs, potatoes, and then I think it's like grits or biscuits and gravy, or the chicken fried steak breakfast, which is a full chicken fried steak, 3 eggs, hash browns, and then like a pancake.
Oh geez.
And yeah, I mean, if I'm making it at home, I'm making breakfast tacos because like throw it in there. I mean, also I'm not gonna get drunk and then deep fry meat, Michael. I'm not stupid like that. I mean, I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Like I'm not gonna set up a breading station so I can make some fucking cube steak in the middle of the night. All right. With that declaration, we are done with another Rage Select podcast. So thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Michael for coming by. We had an afternoon Rage Select podcast.
Absolutely.
It was very strange.
I realized what time it was in my D&Ds in a little bit.
Oh, okay. So yeah, mail@rageselect.com is the email address. You can send it in. You can tell us what your favorite breakfast food is. I am going to go get breakfast tacos. I don't care if it's 6 p.m. I'll go make them myself if I have to. Nobody is going to stop me.